has Baker standing in his way. 2 balls and no strikes to Baker. And a ground ball to third. He has got it, Art. Now, he got it. Nolan Ryan. No-hitter number 5.
For Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan, the 2-0 pitch. Fly ball, right field. Clemens here in foul territory. Number 6 for Nolan Ryan.
Three-game homestand. On this same date in 1941, Lefty Grove won his 300th game. It would also be his last. Nolan Ryan gives the baseball away as he warms up for his. Of the baseball world are on Arlington, Texas tonight as the New York Yankees and the Texas Rangers wrap up a 3-game homestand. But the news, of course, tonight is what you've been reading about for the last week. Nolan Ryan is going after number 300. Hello, everybody. Gary Thorne, and welcome. When ESPN took this baseball contract this season, this is the kind of night we were anticipating. And tonight, will it be the night Nolan Ryan reaches that magic 300 mark? Norm Hitzges, from the historical perspective, tell us about it.
Well, Ryan, first of all, starts with numbers. More than 5,200 strikeouts. That's 1,000 more than anybody else has ever gotten. A half dozen no-hitters. Nobody else got 5. He'd be the 20th man to get 300 wins. But Nolan Ryan transcends numbers, and he transcends labels. He's a guy that you almost cheapen him by calling him a superstar. In a day and age where players are known for the size of their contracts, here's a man known for the size of his competitiveness. When you come to the park with Nolan Ryan as a fan or as a broadcaster, you get a feeling you may see history made. There may be history down the road for Nolan Ryan. 6, 7, 8, 9 years. Might he be the first man ever elected to the Hall of Fame unanimously on the first ballot? And here he is, Nolan Ryan, going for 300 at the age of 43, and he hasn't given an inch to Father Time.
No, he's one of the great competitors of all time. And do we have a special guest tonight, Norm, to help us through this one from a pitcher's perspective? Hall of Famer Jim Palmer. Jimmy, from a pitcher's perspective on a night like this, what do you see?
Well, I think I see a lot of nervousness, and Nolan Ryan said the 2 things that really excited him about pitching was 5,000 strikeouts. He got that last year, and winning 300 games, so he is up and ready for this one. I think you may see a different Nolan Ryan, and the reason I say that is because of the stress fracture of his back. If he has his good stuff, you're going to see fastballs in the 93, 94, 95 mile-per-hour range. If he doesn't have his good fastball, you will see maybe a Nolan Ryan that will be just as effective, and he will throw maybe 40% changeups. The one question in my mind, he said he thought he was a little bit apprehensive because the Yankees, not a very good offensive club, have so many young guys, he's not going to know how to pitch them. Is a no-hitter out of the question? Not at all, but I think he'd settle for a win.
Okay, and the only thing standing between he and 300 are the New York Yankees and Dave LaPointe, who said before the game, why is everybody so excited about my 79th win? Bill Patrick?
All right, thank you, Gary. I will be here throughout the game to bring you up to date on what else is happening throughout the majors. In fact, that's what I'll do starting right now with this afternoon's action in the American League. The Tigers have taken 2 out of 3 from the O's, 4-3 this afternoon. Boston 2-0 over Milwaukee. Roger Clemens with a 3-hit shutout. Bud Black a 3-hit complete game as the Tribe beat the White Sox. Jose Canseco a pair of homers, 6 RBIs as the A's roll, and the Royals have a lead of 4-0 over Toronto. I'll run down the National League a bit later on tonight, but stay where you are. Nolan Ryan goes for number 300 next.
ESPN Baseball Tonight, brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. By Cooper Tools, manufacturer of the new Lufkin Series 2000, the most advanced measuring tape on the market. By the Beef Industry Council and Beef Board. Beef, real food for real people. And by CertainTeed InsulSafe. Insulate your home safely with InsulSafe.
Yankees have lost 2 in a row coming into tonight's game, and they are 2-4 on their current road trip. Our Sears diehard starting lineup for the visiting New York Yankees. One of 4 rookies in the lineup. Deion Sanders will be leading it off. Steve Sachs will be at second base. Another one of the rookies, Oscar Azoka, playing in right field. Matt Noakes, the designated hitter. He'll be batting cleanup. Kevin Moss, another rookie, playing at first base. Mattingly is out. Jim Leyritz at third base, another rookie. Roberto Kelly will be in the outfield playing left. The catcher tonight is Bob Guerin. He'll be batting 8th. And the shortstop, Alvaro Espinosa, batting 9th. For the Texas Rangers defensively, they'll have Sierra in right. Speedster Gary Pettis will be in center, and Pete Incaviglia will be around in left. Steve Buechele will be starting at third base. Jeff Houston is the shortstop. Franco makes the start at second, and Rafael Palmeiro's at first. Mike Stanley has the distinction of being the battery mate tonight of Nolan Ryan.
Of the previous 19 300-game winners, 16 were younger than Ryan, but he's on a wonderful run. He's won his last 5 decisions. The Yankees haven't beaten him since May of 1977. That covers 9 starts before he went to the Astros and since he's come back. A fastball, circle change, and curveball pitcher. The one question is about the back, and Jim, we must monitor that, because when it goes, he goes.
Yes, he looks into the dugout. He gets Bobby Valentine's attention, and then he comes off the field. And this is not a good bullpen. Jeff Russell with 38 saves last year. Elbow surgery. He is on the disabled list.
So let's see if the back will hold up. It obviously is a full house here tonight, and the New York Yankees, remember, they're playing this game. They do not want to be the victim that will go down in the record books as having been the team beaten for the 300th win, especially Dave LaPointe, their starter. Here's Deion Sanders, just 2 hits his last 17 times to the plate as the rookie continues to struggle. Nolan Ryan's ready, and we are underway in the quest for number 300. For Deion Sanders, Tuesday's the day he's supposed to make his mind up whether or not he's going to play football or baseball. And there has been no decision made as to which he's going to do. He's looking for more money. He made it very clear. They said, "What's your decision?" And he rubbed his hands together, saying, "Who puts the green stuff there?"
When is Deion going to start performing to deserve the green stuff?
Well, that's the big question. They like his skills, but if you have watched him at a major league level, you haven't seen anything that's going to really warrant the big stuff. The only reason he's going to get the money is because of the Atlanta Falcons. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's right. 0-2 delivery to him, and he had him fooled as Ryan threw that circle change to him. He fought it off 0-2.
About the back. As you watch Nolan Ryan, the stress fracture in the back will go all at once. Something, a wrong pitch, a wrong move, a start, a goal. It was a fielding play that threw it out. He will step off and start to rub the back. That's a sign that it's going on him. And when it goes, it could go in the first. It could be fine until late September.
There's a line drive, base hit. Deion Sanders pokes it into the corner. Sierra was playing him way over in the gap. This should be a triple. Sanders has great speed, and Neon Deion is on with a lead-off triple. You will not see Sanders get around on a ball. You think the Yankees aren't pumped up? You think this ball club that's lost 59 games doesn't care? Think again. He's on third base with nobody out.
Ryan puts a ball literally in the middle of the plate.
Really, the impressive thing, Gary talked about the speed, is the way he ran the bases, cutting the corners and making a triple a very easy triple. I mean, there's a stand-up triple and there's a stand-up triple. And he got the third so quickly.
And good blocking on the play by the Yankees.
He just cruised in on that one. That's his second triple of the season. Now Steve Sachs with a chance to pick up an RBI right here and bring home a run. Sachs takes the breaking ball inside, ball 1.
Jim, you know Ted Hendry. From a pitcher's perspective, if you're Ryan, are you happy he's behind the plate, or would you rather have somebody else?
Well, he will probably give Dolan more high pitches. You can see that he stands up, kind of like Durwood Merrill. Durwood Merrill umpiring the game for Ben McDonald in his first shutout, his first major league start. And when you get an umpire that's a little bit more upright, you'll get more strikes and higher in the strike zone. Nolan, even though he does have that fastball he turns over, would like to be able to pitch up, especially when he gets ahead.
Evens the count here. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sanders at third with a lead. Steve Sachs busting him inside again. That's where Ryan's staying on him. 2 balls, 1 strike. There's Sanders. The back did bother Nolan Ryan in his last outing. against Detroit. He had to come out after 6 innings. He had a 5-3 win. He gave up just 1 hit in that game, walked 1, struck out 4, but the back went. The breaking ball turned over, and he hasn't shown anything but inside pitches to Steve Sachs. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Looked like a changeup, and again, when you can throw a changeup 2-1 when you're a hitter like Sachs expecting fastball, look how far out in front he is. Again, I think that may be a barometer of how his back feels.
Well, these Yankees offensively, every run is a painful experience. They're hitting 183 on this road trip as a team. Sachs toward short, runner coming. Jeff Houston will make the play to first, get the out, but they get the run in. So Deion Sanders with a leadoff triple scores on the ground ball out by Steve Sachs. And the Yankees have a 1-0 lead. 28th RBI of the season for Sachs.
You know, Jim, we talked of numbers in Nolan Ryan. I want to bounce a number off you and just get a pitcher's perspective. In late 1986, the last 19 starts Ryan made for the Astros. In a 19-start run, he allowed over 5 hits once. Is that incredible?
Well, the lowest batting average in all the major leagues is from a starting pitcher's perspective. You know, Sid Fernandez had a chance to do his game last Friday. Struck out 7 in a row. We'll look at Azokar. But the thing about Nolan is he doesn't really give in. Maybe gives in a little bit more than he did back in the 70s. But he will still try to strike you out. Maybe have you hit the ball a little bit earlier in the count than he used to.
Oscar Azokar punches that one to right field. Sierra late start will not get there. How about this rookie? Oscar Azokar now has 10 hits in 23 major league at-bats as he was called up from Columbus just 8 games ago, and he's on at first base with 1 away. Take a look.
Ruben Sierra has been roasted by the local fans for some very poor defense. The sheet lists him with 5 errors. In reality, there have been at least 24 misplays in right field, and last year when he went for his 5,000th strikeout, a major Sierra misplay contributed to the defeat, and the fans remember it.
13th in fielding in the American League.
Ugh.
Only Milwaukee with more errors.
Designated hitter Matt Noakes goes after the first pitch, strike 1. So they've had a triple and a single, have a run in, and the Yankees on the board in the first inning. They don't do this very often against anybody, much less Nolan Ryan, who has not lost to them in a month of 300 victories for other pitchers. 7-0-2 in his last 9 starts against the New York Yankees. Foul back, evens it up. Takes the count 0-2, rather.
Jimmy Carter was president when he last lost to the Yankees.
That he was. There's a little bit different ball club, and I always felt when I used to pitch in spring training, I had more trouble against the minor leaguers than the major league ball club. They all come out of their shoes. I tell you what, the word intimidation is the word that you put right next to Nolan Ryan's name. I don't believe a lot of the young guys are smart enough to be intimidated.
That one will be in the stands. You know, in that regard, Jim, Stump Merrill, the skipper of the New York Yankees, said before the game today, I was talking about 6 rookies on the team, 4 starting tonight. He said, you know, one of the things that's happened is you see Stumper right there. The club's 16-28 since he took over. One of the things that's happened with the Yankees having a bad year and the kids being called up, he said, there's no intimidation. He said, in fact, the rookies are helping the veterans keep this season going. He said they're the ones who've got the fire in their bellies right now.
Any veteran will tell you once you're out of the race, even though you are getting paid, you got to have pride. You have to have something that drives you, and that's tough to put your finger on in recent months for the Yankees. No doubt about it.
Stanley makes the stop, and Noakes takes the count to a ball and 2 strikes. 1 away, runner at first.
By the way, the bloop that Sierra didn't get to, he's made so many misplays that some wags in this area now refer to him as Ruben Sierra.
Unfortunately for him, that match that rhymes, doesn't it?
Well, he's a young man with incredible tools whose game is just disintegrated defensively.
Noakes with a 1-2 and the runner going. Swung on a miss. Stanley, the throw is high, and it'll be a stolen base.
Well, you touched on a couple of things, Norm. Number one, last year in the American League, nobody had more stolen bases against him than Nolan Ryan. So that's something the Yankees can do. You talked about the defense. Nolan Ryan does not field very well.
Yep.
In fact, you talked about the injury once he had to field a bunt, as you see the stolen base by Azokar. But the point is that most guys will not bunt on Ryan because he'll walk off the mound, rub up the ball, and say that's a good way to get drilled. He intimidates.
He does.
Well, I'm not going to bunt against him if that's the case.
He gets his first strikeout. Stanley can throw him out. The Texas Rangers have been very successful at cutting down the opposition, about 44% of the time this season. Kevin Moss now, another one of the rookies. And the pitch is taken for a strike. And by the way, for Zokar, that is going to be his first major league stolen base.
This kid we've seen before. He hit a ball off Kevin Brown the other night that was amazing. It was an outside fastball that he pulled into the right center field seats. He's got really quick wrists, and he really turns on the ball well.
Good fastball hitter, and they will throw him junk. I wouldn't be surprised. There you go. There's that. A lot of people, and you saw the movement on that ball, a lot of people think that Ryan, ever since he consorted with Mike Scott, scuffs the ball. Again, let's talk about intimidation. Are you going to go, Mr. Umpire, I want you to ask Mr. Ryan to throw the ball in because I think it's scuffed, and then the next one's off your helmet? People are afraid to ask to check the ball when Nolan Ryan pitches.
It's part of that competitive
But I'll tell you
nature.
what, Dave Bergman said, so what? Yeah. Here's a guy 43. Who cares? A lot of other guys do it.
0-2 the count. 2 down. Runner at second base. Kevin Moss.
Get him, Nolan.
He's got long ball power. Pops that one up to shallow right center field. Franco, the second baseman, being called off by Gary Pettis. He hauls it in, and that will do it. But the Yankees pick up a run on a couple of hits in Nolan Ryan's quest for 300. 3 games in a row. They are 6-2 against the Yankees this season, and they've won the last 9 against the Yankees in Texas. Our Sears diehard starting lineup for the home Rangers tonight. The speedster Gary Pettis will be leading it off. He'll be in center field. Julio Franco among the leaders offensively at second base. Rafael Palmeiro will be batting third. He'll be at first base. Ruben Sierra struggling a bit at the plate right now in right field batting cleanup. Pete Incaviglia will be in left field. He'll bat fifth. The designated hitter tonight will be Jack Doherty. He's struggling at the plate as well. Mike Stanley will get to be the battery mate of Nolan Ryan tonight. Steve Buechele will be at third base. He'll be batting eighth. And the shortstop batting ninth, Jeff Houston. And the defensive alignment for the Yankees, Zokar will be in right field. Deion Sanders the start in center. Roberto Kelly is in left. Rookie Jim Leyritz at third base. Alvaro Espinoza at short. Steve Sachs at second. Kevin Moss, the rookie, in for Mattingly. Bob Guerin will be doing the catching. One of my favorite people in baseball, left-hander Dave LaPointe.
Happy early birthday to Dave Snacks LaPointe, who will turn 31 in 4 days. If it can be thrown, Dave will throw it. You want a palm ball, fine. You want a little screwball effect, fine. A little fastball, a little curveball, a little slider, move it up, move it down, move it in and out. Used to throw hard. Now the radar gun giggles when they point it at him. But he knows how to pitch, and he's coming off a really good effort. He lost 2-1 in Minnesota the other day.
And he told me he did not want you talking about his lack of velocity tonight. He said, you tell Hitzges to leave me alone. Pettis squaring to bunt, takes it for a strike on the outside, ball on the outside, rather.
What are we supposed to hope? The video goes black for the whole evening?
We won't compare the velocity.
That's what he said.
If his fastball is to Nolan Ryan's changeup, they'll probably be dragging neck and neck.
He said, just because mine's 20 miles an hour slower doesn't make me less of a pitcher. Pettis 5 for his last 29, ahead on the count 2-0. And LaPointe gets the high strike call, 2-1.
Just a thought, guys. Of all the teams looking for pitching around the major leagues and looking to pick up guys, this is a guy I'd be interested in around the big leagues.
I think the question mark would be his health. You know, the arthroscopic surgery of his shoulder last year, and he is, as you said, a control pitcher, so he's got to be very much like Scotty McGregor, where he doesn't throw that hard, but he's going to get you out in front, and once he gets you out in front, he's going to throw that fastball away, which will look a lot quicker, and then when he gets you looking for the straight stuff, he throws you the curveball. But control, he's got to be in and out.
He has walked 34, struck out only 44. Gives up a lot of hits, 116 hits and 100 innings pitched, so you're working with people on base.
And he really wants to, he wants to stay out of this position.
Yeah.
This position.
This is the guy who can run. He's the third best in stolen bases, so you do not want the leadoff man, Gary Pettis. And that's going to be a foul ball off the end of the bat.
To say that Dave LaPointe has moved around is like saying Elizabeth Taylor likes to date. He's been with 8 teams in 8 years. When they surveyed the major leagues last year, at the start of the '89 season, 27% of all people in the big leagues can say, I played with him.
And proudly so, we might add. 3-2 delivery. Fouls it off again. One interesting note tonight. Nolan Ryan, in 299 wins, has defeated 203 pitchers. He has never, however, had a winning decision against Dave LaPointe
or Jim Palmer.
So there.
It's not too late.
Here's the 3-2. Chop foul. 3 foul balls on a 3-2 count by Pettis. You want to go back again? Is that what you're saying?
Well, if I get paid to lose,
you're going to go in the Hall of Fame. You're going to give that up to go back and pitch again?
I mean, you think the 10 other guys that he beat this year wanted to lose to him?
Listen, with expansion baseball, you got a real shot at it. 3-2 count.
That's another 2 years away, Gary.
Well, that's all right. They're in great shape. We see in those magazines, half naked. LaPointe ready. Here's the 3-2 for the 4th time. And he walks him.
That's the one thing Dave LaPointe absolutely cannot afford. He's going to give up a lot of hits. He can't give any free base runs.
Now the base stealer's on.
It probably won't hurt him as much as a right-handed pitcher because Pettis obviously a little bit more difficulty stealing against the left-hander. LaPointe, pretty good move. He'll vary it, but you just don't want to walk a leadoff guy, especially when they gift wrap you a run. I mean, you don't expect probably when you're pitching against Ryan to get a run anyway.
This Texas team has been murder on left-handers. They're 17-12 against left-handed starters, but most impressive, they are batting as a team .272
guys,
off left-handers.
This team was hitting .230 as a team in late May. They're now up to nearly .260. You have to hit the ball hard for a long time to get it up.
They've been doing that, and then of late have kind of dipped off a little bit over the last week.
Well, you know, the strange thing is this club has now won 27 of 43 since early June. They're the hottest team in the American League the last 7 weeks, and they've done it with Franco slumping, Sierra slumping, Doherty slumping, and Incaviglia slumping for the last 2 to 3 weeks. And they keep winning somehow.
LaPointe waiting as Franco was checking at third for the sign here with Pettis to see if he's going to be running. And he's obviously going to be concerned and will hold him. Ricky Henderson leads the league with 44 stolen bases. Yvonne Calderon of the White Sox with 25. Then Pettis with 24, Sachs with 23, and Kelly with 22. We have 3 of the top 5 base stealers in this game.
But as you said earlier, this Yankee team is extremely difficult to run against. They lead the major leagues in throwing out runners.
44% is just an incredible percentage these days for throwing people out.
Yeah, well, Guerin can throw, and he will. Of course, this is a great offensive situation because Franco handles the bat so well. And I got to think whether Pettis steals or not, eventually you're going to try to get the runner to second because Franco will hit behind him. Valentine, a lot of options as the manager of the Rangers.
0-1, runner not going. Good off-speed breaking ball. Or as they say, how can you tell when it's an off-speed pitch with Dave LaPointe? And the count's 0-2. Dave, we're just kidding you, guy.
You can't run on him. And did you see the slide step? I mean, direct step to home plate. Ryan takes that high leg kick. LaPointe, left-hander, he's looking at you over at first, and then he goes right to the catcher. Pettis will probably be closer to first base than second if he tries to steal. A safe bet to get back to first.
0-2, and he had LaPointe's move that one, a soft toss. We should mention, as you look at first base, Kevin Moss is playing first. Don Mattingly took himself out of the lineup tonight. Here you take a look at the move. Just a soft toss. Mattingly's back is really acting up, and they expect him to go on the DL. He's going to have to be examined. He is really hurting. He can't play. He went into Stump Merrill's office and said, I can't go. Boy, did they have Pettis fooled. Pettis was going back to the bag on that pitch out. 1-2. Take a look at the move.
Well, the key is his right leg. If it comes across the pitching rubber and it's just about right on it, then he has to go. Pettis not knowing which way to go.
LaPointe with that little toe flick toward first base.
1-2 the count. Nobody out. There's Pettis faking me out. It gets away from Stanley. He will throw, but he hasn't got a chance. So that'll put him on as Guerin tried to come up with that. Couldn't quite. Bounced in the dirt. And it puts the runner down at second base, and he was not going on the pitch.
Guerin almost appeared to be crossed up by that pitch. He seemed to get a late move back over to the inside.
I think what happened, Norm, he didn't expect it to bounce about 2 feet short of home plate. And again, when it does, it's not a curveball, so you don't really know if it's going to come up or stay down. So if you're catcher, you try to stay down because it's a lot easier to come up than go down. That one just stayed, and he couldn't make a play on it.
Now the Rangers are in great shape because Franco naturally hits the ball so hard to the right side of the field.
Espinosa moving in on the base runner, turned that one over, got the foul tip. It was held onto by Guerin. And LaPointe gets his first strikeout, 1 away.
LaPointe does something strange with a palm ball. He gets a screwball effect out of a palm ball grip. It's a really weird pitch.
A little bit more pressure on the middle finger and the fourth finger. And what happens is it does come off your fingers like a screwball. Now that screwball right there, 73 miles per hour.
Getting it up there, isn't he?
Well, the difference, though, it's the key. And I was talking to Matt Noakes, who's not catching tonight. He's the DH. I said, is there a difference between the fastball and the changeup? Because that's important. He said, yes, there is.
Keep the pacing, the timing off of the hitters. Runner in scoring position. Yankees leading 1-0. Rafael Palmeiro. And LaPointe will fake the throw to second base with Espinosa moving in behind Pettis. Palmeiro, one of the leaders offensively in the league. 4th in hits, 5th in average, 8th in runs. He's putting up some big offensive numbers. You really want to hold this base runner at second base. This really has the mentality of a playoff game for the Yankees. They do not want to lose this game. It is not just another game in a very long, difficult season for the Yankees.
You know, Nolan Ryan would like to win tonight other than doing in Milwaukee. I mean, you will take your 300th, whether it's in Arlington or downtown Milwaukee at County Stadium or whatever the case is, but you'd like to do it in front of your home fans.
No count on him as it's popped up. Guerin coming back. Photographers get out of the way. And it's a foul ball. 0-1 and 1 away. Great to have you with us here in Arlington, Texas. Gary Thorne, Norm Hitzges, and Jim Palmer on this very special night as Nolan Ryan goes after victory number 300, trying to become the 20th major league pitcher ever to do it.
There are 26 ENG camera crews here. There are requests for more than 200 press credentials here. They have sold out the stadium for the 5th straight home start of Nolan Ryan.
Oh, it's just like a playoff or a World Series. I mean, that's what it looked like on the field before the game.
Bobby Valentine, his numbers with the Rangers. Palmeiro lofts that one to right. Off and running is Pettis, played by Azokar, who makes the throw. They hold the runner, doesn't hit the cutoff man, and down goes Palmeiro to second base. Azokar in right missed the cutoff man, and they had already held Pettis at third, so that takes away the chance for the double play.
I don't believe Oscar Azokar ever intended to look for the cutoff man. If he did, he missed him by about 50 feet.
An emotional response to Gary Pettis. Dave Oliver saying, hey, we got a guy coming up right now, Sierra, that can and is hitting much better from the right side. Why take a gamble? And the bad news is not only did they not get the Pettis safe at third because he stopped there, but the runner goes to second. And now you have the go-ahead run at second.
With one out and the Yankees up 1-0, the Rangers can respond here in the bottom half of the first inning. Sierra's got the opportunity for a couple of RBIs with a base hit. And you know all those hits and runs will be measured by Nolan Ryan, who himself said, I am nervous tonight. LaPointe bounces that one. Guerin makes the stop. There's Pettis, base runner at third. And Palmeiro, credit him with a single. He goes to second on the throw.
You know, the mark of just how much talent Sierra is in the midst of what everybody says is a bad season. This guy projects to 20 homers and 85 to 90 RBIs.
When you have the year he had last year, and you have the capabilities, they expect 24 for him to even get better. I think, you know, he has one of those classic swings. He lifts his leg, a la Darryl Strawberry, Sadahara, but takes a big stride.
Again, LaPointe bouncing one. Guerin's going to be black and blue before the first inning is over here. The count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike with 1 away. Here's Bob Guerin working behind the plate for the Yankees, who trail in this season series to Texas 6-2.
Sierra has just owned LaPointe. He's 10 for 23 lifetime against him.
Winds up. He was going to swing at that if it was anywhere close. When he takes a windup like that with that front leg, he's got to swing because he's already committed himself. 2-2.
I don't think the American League pitchers don't know that.
Well, the book on Sierra is to do just what LaPointe did. Make sure the ball's outside and change speeds on him.
Well, that's a perfect pitch. If he makes another one, we may see a strikeout.
2-2 the count. Incaviglia waiting on deck. Sierra again. He got him. Stayed away. Dave LaPointe with a couple of strikeouts, still 2 in scoring position. He's going to have to face Incaviglia. Bill Patrick.
All right, Gary, let's head to Philadelphia, where Dave Magadan has put the Mets on top of the Phillies. He puts a charge into this one to dead center field. And has Jeff Parrott squawking to himself. The 4th of the year for Magadan. 2-0 Mets in the top of the 4th. Back to Arlington, Texas.
All the Mets need have Dave Magadan start hitting home runs with everybody else.
Well, yeah, you know why he's a little bit upset? His average dipped below 350. It was down to 343 going into the game.
Yeah. Pete Incaviglia, here's a big spot early in the game. 2 in scoring position and 2 down. Inky, strike 1.
You know, you look at statistics, you can do a lot of things with numbers. Bobby Valentine has got Incaviglia in the lineup hitting number 5. He's only 3 for 18 against LaPointe in his career. All 3 were homers for 7 RBIs.
Not bad.
No.
He has 53 RBIs, 15 home runs. A lot of guests on hand tonight, including the commissioner of baseball, Fay Vincent, here watching the game tonight.
That's the left ear of George Bush. Right ear. Left ear. Help me out here.
We'll give you time. There are both ears, so you don't have to worry about it.
To our right, it's his left ear.
To your right, it's still his left ear. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 down, and 2 on, and 2 ears. Pettis and Palmero, the base runners. LaPointe, the 1-1. Incaviglia up high, 2-1.
Well, I guess we could say that George is all ears tonight. Oh, was that bad?
Oh, my gosh.
Well, you know, I had a ride on the elevator twice.
You got time to think on this elevator, don't you, Jim?
Yes, you do. I mean, after the first or the second lurch.
I think we hit some wind shears in that elevator tonight. What, 45,000 plus on hand here tonight?
Right, and 1 elevator.
And 1 elevator. As they've jammed them in. 2 ball, 1 strike delivery. Incaviglia, center field. Deion Sanders will not get it. It'll score 2. Pettis and Palmero, and Inky comes through, and the Rangers lead 2-1. That's why he's in the lineup, Norm.
Pete Incaviglia is deceiving. His average is low, but he produces a ton of runs for this club. He's made himself a really nice defensive outfielder. But speaking of defensive outfielders, Deion Sanders played this ball on cat's feet in center field.
Yeah, you'd think that he would try to catch it. I think he got fooled. The ball may have knuckled. And a ball that looked like with his speed, if he charged, you got a chance. You know the 2 runs are going to score with 2 outs. But again, we've seen 2 plays in the first inning that I got to peg up inexperience.
That's right. Balls that should have been caught in the outfield. Here's Jack Doherty, the DH. Incaviglia now with 55 runs batted in. The leadoff walk to Pettis is costly. And Palmero's base hit, moving down to second on an errant throw that missed the cutoff man, putting him in scoring position. These are the things that make the difference. Doherty waiting. LaPointe up high. Jim, we were talking about that before the game. The little things that just go by the boards. Like everyone will forget what happened here, but here in the first inning we've had plays that weren't made that are making a difference. And it's a 2-1 Texas lead. Strike in the outside corner, 1-1.
Rangers are not a rich franchise, and they've gotten very lucky with people like Jack Doherty, Kenny Rogers, and Jeff Houston. Doherty's a kid that they thought so little of, Major League scouts, that he had to ask for a tryout with the A's in an Arizona instructional league camp, and the A's then released him. They looked at him for 1 year and said, never.
Runner goes. Incaviglia. Throw by Guerin off the mark. Pete Incaviglia's got a stolen base, his 2nd of the season. 2 for 4.
Well, pick a pitch, pick a breaking pitch, and that's what successful base running is all about. And you got a success quotient that may be a little bit higher. Picks a changeup. Guerin doesn't make a bad throw. It's not a perfect one because he knows he has to hurry. I got to think that he's in shock when he sees Incaviglia going.
You know, as weird as this sounds, Incaviglia has stolen before. He averaged 6-7 stolen bases a year here.
Doherty does not get the dead fish. LaPointe strikes the side out, but in between a walk and a couple of singles. The Country boy from Alvin, Texas, didn't like the Big Apple very much when he pitched for New York, but he had a winning season in 1969 when he went 6-3, a reliever and a starter, and a 7-inning relief performance against Atlanta in the National League Championship Series. It was the miracle year of the New York Mets, and Nolan Ryan was part of it. Colossal's a good word for Nolan Ryan. Yet, you know, as Ruth Ryan looks on, Nolan Ryan has never won the Cy Young Award. Jim Palmer's one of the reasons for that. Season when he had a chance, Jimmy won it.
Well, we just saw that blurb from 1969. What I remember about Ryan is the World Series. We lost to the Mets to win in 109 games. And the Paul Blair, I mean, a terrific year, one of the best breaking ball hitters at that point in his career before he got beamed. He was in our dugout when Nolan dropped a curveball off on him for strike 3.
Well, that's the only World Series he's ever been involved in. He had no record. Jim Leyritz, Yankees rookie infielder and outfielder, takes the strike on the outside corner. Leyritz is struggling at the plate right now. What you're seeing with these Yankee rookies who are position players, they are having to learn to hit at the major league level, and that's tough. Ooh, Leyritz right at his head, and it hit the bat. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
By the way, gentlemen, as you see Leyritz get a strike he didn't need to give up. This note from the Ranger press room, an all-time new record for press meals tonight.
Strike 3 called. Nolan Ryan, second strikeout.
They served 308 meals to the press tonight. How's that for incidental information from the Rangers?
And I didn't even get one.
No, just think if we had had time to eat.
That's unfair. Leyritz knows about the 95-mile-an-hour, but that one's unfair.
Yeah, but does he know about 10 Henry ample strike zone? He said the ball was inside. It probably was, but I'll tell you what, I think tonight the rookies better defer to the veteran. They better swing the bat.
Roberto Kelly went away, nobody on, and Kelly does swing the bat on the heater and doesn't catch up to it. 93 miles an hour on that fastball.
This is the Yankee with the most success of anyone against Ryan, albeit he's only hit 7 times against him. He does have 4 hits.
0-1 to him is fouled back. Ryan's ahead on the count, 0-2.
Yeah, I think Nolan probably has a sense of that, Norm, and what will invariably happen if Nolan pitches a couple of more years is that he will, after throwing a couple of fastballs away, come in up and in, dust them, so to speak.
Hello.
And all of a sudden he just loses that comfortability at home plate.
0-2 delivery to short. Jeff Houston, long throw, 2 down. Pretty good shortstop right there, Jeff Houston. The motion.
Jimmy?
Well, people think and wonder why can a guy pitch all the innings, almost 5,000, strike out over 5,000, at 43 still be throwing 93 miles per hour. Leg drive, they call it biomechanics in sports medicine today. They tell all young pitchers you want to emulate a guy. You want to emulate Tom Seaver, Nolan Ryan, a guy like Jerry Kuzman. You got to give Rube Walker, who was their pitching coach back with the Mets, a lot of credit. They use the total body. It takes a lot of pressure off your arm.
2 down, bases empty, and Bob Guerin going for the dinger does not catch that one. Texas with the 2-1 lead.
I don't want you to tell him this, Norm, but he almost short arms the ball. In other words, it comes out of his uniform, and you see he tucks his arm. There's not a lot of really extraneous pressure on his arm. He uses his legs so well. He uses the big muscles of his body instead of his elbow, and really deaccelerates with his body.
Well, Jim, as a pitcher, you also understood this. He's very good at monitoring his own body. He knows when something goes wrong and he stops pitching. That's been a key to his longevity.
Yeah, I think that and going to the National League. You know, when he went over to Houston in 1980, got away from the DH for a while. He did learn to pitch over there, turning the fastball over, more use of the changeup. He's always had the fastball and the curveball.
0-2 delivered to Guerin, and he's gone. Nolan Ryan has his 3rd strikeout. The man who has had 300 strikeouts in a season 6 times. Texas with a lead as they come to the plate. Bottom half of the 2nd inning. The Ryan family, you know. The lady with the glasses on, Mrs. Ryan. You know she will get a little tense as this game moves along. Ryan's on top. Stanley, first ball hitting off Dave LaPointe, picks up A leadoff single here in the second inning. Deion Sanders gets it back in, and Stanley's on. You think this guy, some question whether or not he was going to be able to catch in tonight's game, as he had to come out of Monday's game. He's got a knee bruise that they've had to pad because it still hurts, but the opportunity to catch Ryan in his 300th win, he wasn't going to pass it up if he could get down on the crouch.
Well, he missed the no-hitter earlier this season. That went to John Russell, who's truly had a roller coaster season. John Russell was released by Atlanta 3 days before the season began and winds up catching Ryan's 6th no-hitter. Thank you, Atlanta.
Thank you, Atlanta. Yeah. Steve Buechele. Dave LaPointe has now given up 3 hits. And the first 2 innings, the leadoff man's been on for the Rangers. Buechele bunting. Guerin couldn't find it. Along with Russell catching the no-hitter, Stanley, who's on at first base, did catch victory number 299. And then Chad Kruder, young catchers back of the minor leagues. There's Stanley, also wants to catch number 300. Kruder caught the 5,000th strikeout, so the catchers have shared the honors here for the Rangers. Oh, 1 count on Buechele. Up high with it, 1-1.
Buechele early this year got hit in the wrist by Eric Plunk, and it fractured the wrist. He went on the disabled list, came back much too soon. The wrist was bad. He could not swing the bat. Went back on the disabled list, then to rehab, and finally it's well again after about 2.5 months.
Batting just 150 in 28 games since the DL.
Says it doesn't hurt. Says he has the strength that he had last year. And he was a home run hitter in the middle teens. But what I like about him is his defense.
Oh,
he's got Coolbaugh. Well, he tried, came up, went back down, played a little bit better, but does not have the range.
1-1 is popped up third base. Lawrence puts that one away. 1 away. Stanley will play a stay at first base, and Jeff Houston will be coming up, and we'll check in our Baseball Tonight studios. Bill.
All right, Gary, let's head to the vet in Philadelphia, where the Mets are pouring it on. Top of the 5th, the pitch to Kevin McReynolds. He sends it to left field. Somehow it sneaks through Carmelo Martinez and Lenny Dykstra all the way to the wall for a 2-run triple. Hojo scores. Darryl Strawberry right behind him. And the Mets continue to rattle Jeff Parrott's cage, Gary.
So what a race that is. The Pittsburgh Pirates will not relent. They are not giving up that first place lead, and the Mets keep the heat on. Looks like there's going to be a great finish in that division.
Montreal's beating Pittsburgh tonight, and they're not out of it.
Nope. Here's Jeff Houston. Batting 9th in the order. The shortstop has Stanley on at first base. The Rangers are leading it by a score of 2-1 and trying to add to it right here. He's going to bunt. He's going to be bunting for a base hit.
If Alomar, the Cleveland catcher, weren't having such a terrific rookie season, this young man would be a contender for Rookie of the Year. Houston's come over and has given them extremely steady play.
Yeah, especially at a key position. Jeff Kunkel, they've tried to give him the opportunity. He's been hurt, not hitting like he did last year. Very impressive, Jeff Houston.
Dave LaPointe with a 2-0 count and 1 away. And that one misses up high.
Well, he's the kind of guy, Jim, he's not a scouts player. You've got to see him every day to like him. He doesn't have high speed. He doesn't have great range. He doesn't have a gun for an arm. He doesn't have much power. But you watch him for 2 weeks and you say to yourself, that kid can play.
3-0 he'll take. And he takes for the walk. Second walk given up by LaPointe, who has 3 strikeouts. And again, Dave LaPointe will work with runners on at first and second and just 1 out.
It's a major downer for a controlled pitcher like LaPointe to not be able to throw a strike on 3-0 is a major downer.
And he's got to face the other man. He walks the leadoff batter, Gary Pettis, coming to the plate. LaPointe lifetime, 5 wins and 7 losses against the Texas Rangers for the different ball clubs he's worked for.
Yankees have to be alive here. They got Moss playing far back at first base and a left-hander, and Pettis has accomplished it, pushing the bunt down the right side.
Well, you see, those are things that with Mattingly you never ever have to worry about. You know, you never have to worry about a guy that's won 5 straight Gold Gloves, about his positioning.
Kevin Moss, the rookie at first base, really filling in. I mean, that's not a position he's played a lot of at all.
Yeah, DH is his best position.
Timeout taken. We do hope Don Mattingly It's going to be all right. It is so sad to see that happen to Mattingly, who's just struggling this season. He's not having a good year in any event, batting just .245. And LaPointe finds the strike zone 1-1. The bad back continues to flare up, and they're going to have it looked at again. And as we mentioned, it looks like he's going to have to go on the DL.
It's almost hard to watch Don Mattingly the last few days. He's turned into almost a fly swatter hitter. He flicks at the ball.
Stump Merrill told him, please don't play if you feel that badly, because the swing is just not there. Down to first, Kevin Maas on the cue ball will take it over. Runners will move up. Now there are 2 in scoring position for Franco. We'll see what he can do with it after we check in with Bill Patrick.
All right, Gary Thorne. While the Mets are winning, the Pirates are losing in Montreal. This is what you call yanking one out. Dave Martinez, see ya. Number 9 on the season for Martinez. It comes off a Bob walk in the bottom of the 5th, and it puts Zane Smith and the Expos up 3-0. Back to Arlington.
That'll make it interesting if those scores stay the same in that division. All right, 2 down, a 2-1 lead for the Rangers, and Dave LaPointe has been in this situation before. Incaviglia got the 2 RBI single in the first inning with 2 down and runners in scoring position. And now he's got to work to Franco, who takes the pitch, ball 1.
One of those key early in the game situations. A hit here breaks this game open a little bit for Texas.
Well, it gives Nolan what he wants. Told Dave Oliver, get me a lot of runs and get me him early.
Pitcher says that every game.
Yeah, well, I mean, he does, but, you know, we're talking about 300 here, and then when you look at the bullpen situation, it makes it a little bit easier for Bobby Valentine. He maybe can stay with Ryan a little bit longer.
Yankees aren't wasting any time. Their pen is active already. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 down, and 2 on.
Well, if you're Stump Merrill, you got a guy warming up in the bullpen that throws about 93, and you got a guy on the mound that's throwing about 73. And he's not throwing strikes.
1-1, got underneath that to left center field. It's going to be playable in center. Deion Sanders is back there and hauls it in. He just missed on that one because that ball was driven a long way. Texas up, so's Ryan. Nolan Ryan's 43 years old, 5 months and 25 days. That gets you ready for 300, Nolan.
I think with all the things that's happened in my career, that I'm probably better prepared to handle that situation than maybe a lot of people. I can remember after the first, second no-hitters, a lot of talk about the Johnny Vandermeer record of back-to-back no-hitters. And I can remember after the second no-hitter in Detroit, honestly trying to go out and throw a no-hitter for the first time and getting into the 8th inning and losing it. And I think going through those experiences that you learn that you can't be distracted and you can't go outside of what your routine is and what your perspective is and what you have to try to achieve. And so I think all these things that have happened in my career probably make me better prepared to handle a situation of this sort.
He certainly does not go outside his routine. 0-1 delivery. And Alvaro Espinoza takes the pitch, 1-1.
One of the most incredible workers in baseball. After he struck out the 5,000s last year, there must have been 2 hours of press convergence conferences, things like that. After it was all over, a bunch of us hung around here. And Ryan, who still had a little adrenaline pumping, at about 12:30 or 1 o'clock said, I think I'll get in my bicycle riding before I go home. And went in and rode the stationary bike at 1 in the morning for about 25 minutes.
He's absolutely adamant about that. 1-2, Espinoza down the line. Trouble if it's fair. It is a fair, no, a foul ball. Boy, that looked like it kicked up a little white stuff down there, but not so. Third base umpire right on the line. Jim Joyce had it. Ryan will take that and give it another whirl as Ted Hendry comes up. Take a look at the baseball. How close was it?
Well,
not as close as I thought.
McEnroe wouldn't have argued on that. That's how far.
Yes, he would have. Yes, he would have.
Espinoza, the number 9 hitter, behind on the count here, 1-2. Sanders and Sachs to follow. Ryan with 3 strikeouts, almost had 4.
Alvaro certainly doesn't shorten up to make a little contact with 2 strikes, does he?
Well, this may be the reason why he's not hitting as well this year as last year. You know, good high ball hitter, and I think the league has adjusted to him. And they just talk about getting the ball down, so then he has to create the leverage.
This whole Yankee lineup tends to do that. missed inside with it and had him fooled. This lineup will just swing away. Not a lot of discipline.
Doesn't walk at all. Yankees worst in the major leagues in walks. They've drawn only 218 walks. That's way below everybody else in the big leagues.
2-2 delivery. Espinosa foul tips it. They don't score runs. They don't hit. They're last in slugging. They're last in on base percentage. And you think they're missing people on base? Not so. They have the fewest people left on base. They've had no offense.
This is 94 that Alvaro gets a nip of, that also gets a nip of Stanley. Well, it may sound simplistic in baseball, but if you don't put anybody on base, you're generally not going to score many runs.
Good point.
That does work.
That's a heck of a point. Yeah.
Here's the 2-2 by Ryan. The Express. There's 4. He came into the game with 126 strikeouts, third in the league. He now has picked up 4. It's 130 Ks. Accomplishments. Those are the low-hit, no-hit games of his career.
The 19 seasons of winning 10. Look at it. You know who's second in number of double-figure strikeout games? Ryan has 202. You know who's second? Koufax with 97 is next in line.
That is such an amazing stat.
He's got a few of those. Deion Sanders. This will be a tough play. Jeff Houston with a speedster going. Didn't get him. That is one of the few times a head-first dive will get a base runner in safely. Sanders has tripled and now singled. The adage is when you're going down the baseline, if you dive, you actually get there slower than if you just kept your running pace. This time it works.
Well, second base hit, and nobody is going to doubt his intensity. We talked about the fact, has he proved he can play in the big leagues? Well, not yet, but tonight, triple and now this single. I don't know if he's getting ready for football camp or what, but he is hustling.
Deion Sanders is on, and he has 2 of the 3 hits for the Yankees. Sachs had the RBI, driving Sanders in the first with a ground ball out. Deion's running up high. Stanley couldn't get it out of the glove. Deion Sanders picks up the stolen base, gets in scoring position, and for Sanders that will be his 7th stolen base. He's 7 for 9.
The only bad thing about a head-first dive into first base is it can cause some rude bruises on your body as you go over the top of that bag at full speed.
So get your hands spiked.
It looks so good on baseball tonight, though.
Is that what it is?
Oh, yeah.
What do you guys think?
I live for that stuff.
You take that into the arbitration table and put it on for the arbitrator?
I like film.
You like the film at the arbitration?
They're going to have his punt return the first game and that.
Sachs chops it foul, and Nolan Ryan's ahead on the count 0-2.
You know, I think the interesting thing about Deion Sanders is, yeah, he hasn't proved himself. He's done well at AAA, but people have a tendency, Norm, I think, to compare him to Bo Jackson. And you know, we're not talking apples and oranges here. We're talking about a guy, yes, he can run fast, doesn't have the bat speed, doesn't have the strength, does have a lot of good skills, though, but he's going to have to learn to play baseball.
Well, he's going to have to play baseball to learn also.
Good point.
0-2 the count. Sachs off the fist. Great stop made. Buechele thrown a third, and he did not get him. They played it to Houston, the shortstop. Deion Sanders got underneath the attempted tag as Jeff Houston could not get in position ahead of the runner. And Nolan Ryan's being chipped at here as it'll be Sachs at first and Deion Sanders at third.
Well, this is, first of all, a terrific stop by Buechele, who goes deep to Spirit. And then wonderful hustle by Houston and by Sanders. What is Houston even doing here?
Well, just heads up play. You talked about it last year. Montreal stole 30 bases. The Rangers are real lucky to get Houston. And the only reason they got him is because Montreal needed a left-handed pitcher. Drew Hall going up there and Houston coming down here to Texas. Heads up play. That's a play that Mark Belanger used to do. Runners at first and second, ball in the hole. You don't have a play at first and second. You get the force at third. And for some reason, Brooks Robinson would be at third base. Constantly amazed.
That's a single, by the way, for Sachs. That one is popped up and there'll be no play as Azokar, who singled his first time up, goes after Ryan's first delivery. 4 hits now for the Yankees. They have runners at first and third with 1 away here in the 3rd inning.
Gentlemen, about a player who's not in the lineup tonight, wouldn't you think somebody'd be attracted to pick up Jesse Barfield? He's gathering dust on the bench on this team. He's a pretty good player.
A lot of money. Not the hitter he used to. The wrist problems that he had about 3 or 4 years ago have really caught up with him. Well, you know, capable of still playing a good right field, but a lot of strikeouts, Norm.
They may well be shopping him with the rookies getting the chance. Azokar throw over. Sachs was leaning the other way. That was close.
Well, the Rangers have to be careful here. Obviously, the feeling is here's the tying run at third base. That's the lead run at first and an extremely good base stealer in Sachs. Stump Merrill's got a possibility of doing some things here. You could straight steal with Sachs. You could double steal with Sachs and Sanders.
I think you got to do something, mainly because Sachs does steal well. You want to annoy Nolan Ryan. He does not like to be taken out of his rhythm. Base stealers will do that. He doesn't want to throw to first, even though you have to do it in the modern era.
Sachs is a very good base runner. He knows how to draw the throw, get the lead. He's 4th in the league in stolen bases.
You see, Nolan is like Dwight Gooden. He has the capability to get the strikeout. So the stolen base is not going to hurt him.
That is a foul ball by Azokar.
It won't hurt him as much as it does other pitchers.
Back to third, Deion Sanders. Azokar is 25 years old from Caracas, Venezuela. For this rookie who has been in pro ball since 1987, he is a converted pitcher. Azokar was doing some pitching 84 through 86, and then they made him a fielder and brought him up, signed as a free agent.
Yeah, good numbers too. 14 and 6.
14 and 6.
So he better be able to hit.
So now he's playing right field for the Yankees.
Yeah, the book on him is basically Yellowstone National Park. That's his strike zone. Anywhere. A bad ball hitter. We saw he hit one over his head the first time.
Oh my.
Well, that's not Nolan Ryan in the 70s.
Well, you said Ted Henry had a big strike zone, Jim.
Well, not that big.
0-2. Sachs goes. Popped up. That is playable at third. Sachs trying to find the ball, heading back to first base. Buechel's got it. And Sachs will get back. So Azokar pops up to Buechel. Sachs was all the way down to second base before he realized where the ball was.
95 on the gun, that pitch. Realize the Rangers used the high gun here.
So that means he's thrown anywhere from 90 to 92 at age 43.
The most remarkable pitch I saw Ryan throw last year was he pitched on a night where the heat was 96 when he started. He goes into the 9th inning in a crucial spot. He leans back and throws back-to-back 96s in the 9th inning after he's thrown about 120 pitches.
He used to always have the ability to reach back and get something else. Now he has the ability not only to reach back like he just did there, but also take something off.
Matt Noakes now with a 2-1 Ranger lead. Ryan fists him, and it's foul back. 2 down. Runners at first and third. Sanders and Sachs, and each team's getting opportunities here early on in this game.
Jimmy, let me go into the mind of making you the manager. In this situation, do you just say, hey, let Noakes flail away, or do you think of putting something on with Sachs and Sanders here?
Oh, you can do that, but then again, you know, who's he going to pitch to? I think right now that you can walk into second. Mike Stanley behind the plate is not going to take a chance of risking and throwing the ball away. So he's going to check the runner at third and very cautiously.
There he goes. Fakes the throw. Deion Sanders not off the bag, and there's the stolen base. You
know, that's something you just know is going to happen. And what this does, it takes the force away from the defense, the ball in the hole. Noakes doesn't run real well. It does put a little more defense of pressure. So a lot of ways to look at it. You got to take it. Go ahead, run now, Steve Sachs.
Yeah. 24 stolen bases ties him with Gary Pettis for third in the league. And another big situation here is the teams with runners in scoring position, both of them looking for big hits. And the Yankees have been looking for the big hits all year. 1-1, 2 down. Popped him back, no play on it, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes on the designated hitter, Matt Noakes.
Well, Norm, you had a chance to see Noakes catch a couple of years ago when he had 32 home runs. Loved the ball out over the plate. The next year they started moving the ball in on him, throwing him more breaking balls, hit 16. Then it went to 9 with a knee injury. The book on him is you really want to crowd him. He's gone into a little bit more of a severe crouch. But with a 1 and 2 strike count on him, we'll see how Nolan pitches it. You can tell where Stanley's going to move.
1 ball, 2 strike count. Ryan got it in left field. Incaviglia finds it. Ryan's out of it. No runs, a couple of hits. 2 are left on base. Nolan Ryan is pitching on the best day to win.
ESPN Baseball Tonight, brought to you by Mitsubishi, bringing you a full line of award-winning automobiles. See them all at your Mitsubishi Motors dealer. And by Kendall Motor Oil. When you pour in the Kendall, you can really pour it on.
The full house on hand as Palmer steps in against Dave LaPointe, grounds it down to first. Kevin Maas has it. He'll go to the bag himself, and there's one away in the bottom half of the third. Mentioned for Nolan Ryan, this is the day to win. Wednesdays throughout his career have been his best days. He has 52 wins on Wednesdays, more than any other day of the week, and ironically happens to be a Wednesday, but he's going after 300 here tonight. Ruben Sierra struck out his first time up against LaPointe.
Norm, you've been around Nolan a long time. There's some, I guess, speculation that maybe with the bad back, the stress fracture that he says it would take 5 weeks to heal. Do you think he'll do a lot more pitching the rest of the year if he wins?
Yeah, I think Nolan is such a gamer that he'll keep pitching. He believes, and the doctors have told him, 5-6 weeks in the offseason, he'll be fully healed. He'll be like new.
We should note, as LaPointe gets the swinging strike on Sierra to go 0-2, that Ryan is working on 4 days rest. Bobby Valentine has had to juggle his pitching rotation of the Rangers all season long, so Ryan working on 4 days, and the starters for upcoming games remains to be seen. That's the way it's been for Valentine this year. LaPointe with the 0-2, got him again. Boy, he's got the number on Sierra. He's made Sierra look bad in 2 at-bats. And LaPointe's got 4 strikeouts, 2 quick outs. Let's check in on our Baseball Tonight studios. Bill?
All right, Gary, let's head to the vet in Philadelphia. Check this one out. Darryl Strawberry, dead center field. They say it went 470 feet. That's almost 157 yards to you and me, Rusty. The Mets scoring 5 runs from the top of the 6th. 9-0 Mets, Gary.
It's just one of those nights where it's all over before it started.
Well, got to choke down on the 8-iron to hit it that far.
We are 2-1 here with 2 down and nobody on in the third. Dave LaPointe trying to get the side out in order for the first time. Rangers have stranded 3, and so have the New York Yankees through the first 3 innings.
One thing that Ryan's quest for 300 and the no-hitter and all the strikeouts have done is it's completely camouflaged the development of Kevin Brown and Bobby Witt on this team.
On the bouncer by LaPointe. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Do you know that Nolan Ryan came into this game not leading his own team in strikeouts? Bobby Witt led this team in strikeouts coming in tonight. He's won 5 in a row. And the kid Brown's a dozen-game winner. This is an interesting rotation.
Yeah, Witt, for the first time that I see, realizes that his best pitch is his fastball. You talk to Tom House. You take a look at the foul ball by Incaviglia. He'll say, tell me, what the best pitch that Witt has. He says fastball. And you say, well, tell me his pitching philosophy. To run the count to 3-2 and throw the hitter a slider. So a total difference of philosophy than what is his best pitch. But I saw him pitch a game in Baltimore against the Orioles, and he pitched great because he established the fastball and baffled him with a slider.
1-2, look out. As he almost picked off the bat boy. Check swing by Incaviglia, lined it right over to the corner of the dugout, and he crosses himself. And I don't blame you, young man. There you see the commissioner, who was pretty close to that, along with Mr. Bush. That is Nolan's son. And the pitch is taken up high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That would not have been very nice. That's Reese Ryan. Looks a little bit like Dad. Huh? Looks a lot like Dad. He just got out of the way of that one. Pretty good shaw going there, let him come.
By the way, the tickets for tonight's game were being scalped for as much as $200.
Surprised it wasn't more.
Oh, no wonder I don't have a seat. No wonder I'm standing up here.
Here's the 2-2 by Dave LaPointe. Inky's gone. Nice hitting. 5 strikeouts for Dave LaPointe, who only had 44 coming into the game. He retires the side in order. Ryan was in the Houston uniform for no-hitter number 5, September 26, 1981, and he was at home to do it in Houston. The opponent, the Los Angeles Dodgers. This, the final out of no-hitter number 5, was a 5-0 win. 3 walks, 11 strikeouts, retired the last 19 batters he faced. And with no-hitter number 5, he broke Sandy Koufax's record of 4 career no-hitters. Not going to be a no-hitter tonight, but it could be number 300. Rangers up 2-1. Ryan ready to go. Kevin Maas steps in and takes the pitch outside for a ball. Another one of the rookies we were talking about, an older rookie, University of California at Berkeley. He is 25 years old, didn't have any major league experience prior to this season. He's getting it now. Pitch is taken up high, and these rookies, boy, this is a tough way to learn the game of baseball, but that's the way it's going to have to be done. He's playing in his 19th professional game.
What if I take you two gentlemen, mostly fastballs tonight, as you see. What if I take you two guys down memory lane for a minute about Nolan Ryan?
2-0 delivery. Deep right field. Did he get that? Way back, looking up, Sierra. Goodbye, home run, Kevin Moss. And it is a 2-2 ball game. The 10th home run off Nolan Ryan this season, and the kid will not forget this one, his 7th.
He has only 16 hits, and 7 of them have left the yard. And Jim, it's exactly what we talked about his first time up.
2-0, fastball hitter, got a fastball, and Nolan shook his head. I mean, he said, hey, 2-0, I got behind him. It probably told him he was a fastball hitter, and he hit it. This is a 2-0 pitch. He's looking, and he leaves earth. We talked about how far he hit it just the other night.
Whoop. What a nice cut. Got the arms out, fully extended.
Well, you know, leadoff batter, you don't want to walk him. You got to take a chance. Moss was a little bit better there.
Blair, it's looking as though he might bunt on that one for the base hit.
Let's go back down. Where's that memory lane?
Memory lane.
Okay.
We're going to go to the first Nolan Ryan win in April of 1968. I got a couple of notes.
1-0 delivery, and it's outside.
The #1 song on that day was Otis Redding's Dock of the Bay. It had been there 4 weeks. LBJ had declined re-election 2 weeks before. Was Kevin Moss alive, by the way?
He was probably not alive. Well, he was. He's 25 years old. Yeah.
Martin Luther King had just been assassinated, triggering the riots that killed 46 and injured 2,600. In 2 months, Robert Kennedy would be killed. It was the year of Tiny Tim's tiptoe through the tulips.
Painful. The painful
on Johnny
tiptoe.
Carson, no less.
All the time.
3-0 the count. Ryan gets it on the outside corner.
Here's one for Palmer. It's the year Jim Palmer stocked up on Nehru jackets.
And there's the lineup. The Mets starting lineup for Nolan Ryan's first win. Bud Harrelson's now the skipper of the Mets. Popped him up, first base. Catcher's going to go for it, Stanley, and he gets it in foul territory. There, it's a pop-up victim, 1 away.
It's the year Denny McClain went 31-6.
How about that? That's not a bad lineup right there. A lot of those people would be part of that miracle '69 Met team. Tommy Agee, Ron Swoboda, Art Shamsky, Eddie Kranepool.
Yeah, Grody
doing the catching.
Doubled off me in the 3rd game. I remember that.
You remember those, don't you?
Oh, yes, I do. On the chalk.
Here's Roberto Kelly, 1 out. We're a 2-2 game now. 5 hits. Ooh. Yellow. Kelly leaning in. Decides you better lean back.
Well, what happened last time? Line drive the shortstop. He said he hits him well. Nolan doesn't forget these things. He probably remembers that lineup too back in '68.
I'm sure. Two runs, 5 hits Yankees. 2 runs, 3 hits Rangers. And then he went away.
The average American income that year that he won his first game?
Oh, you're really going to hurt us.
$8,600. A home, an average home in America, costs $24,700.
We'll buy a garage today if it's on sale. How much did Nolan Ryan earn his first year?
Peanuts.
$7,000.
Yeah, well, that was the minimum salary back then.
Yeah, $7,000.
He and his wife lived with her folks in the off season because they couldn't afford a home.
Know the feeling.
Got him. Had him going around on that one. He's really got him jumping at the plate now as Kelly's fooled here. Inside, outside, up high, down low. 2-2.
2 last notes. Gasoline was 34 cents a gallon. And they get a box seat to see Ryan win his first in the Astrodome. Cost $3.50.
That's the same, isn't it? Foul back, and the count stays at 2-2. Get him to see if you're lucky enough to get a ticket here tonight. Norm said might have cost you a couple $100 or more. Lots of advertisements in the paper today by the agencies who held tickets, selling them today. 2-2 ball game. Kelly stepped out on him. 1 down, bases empty, and a 2-2 count. Kelly gets a hold of one. Deep left field, way up in the air. Incavilla back at the wall, looking up. Goodbye, home run, Roberto Kelly. And the Yankees have a 3-2 lead on 2 home runs in the 4th inning.
Jim, the pitch is very uncharacteristic for Ryan. It's a fastball up with almost nothing on it.
2 strikes. Similar, except that the count is a little bit different to the home run that Kevin Moss hits. This is number 5 on the year for Roberto Kelly. Again, when you throw a ball that much in the middle of the plate, 2-2, that is not Nolan Ryan. He did not intend to do that.
He'd given up 9 home runs coming into tonight's game with that home run by Roberto Kelly. 2 here tonight. 2 in this 4th inning, Moss and Kelly. And the Yankees are back on top by a run. Guerin will hang loose, takes the strike on the inside corner. Remember, this is a Yankee team hitting 183 on this road trip and coming up with almost no runs at all. They have been shut out 9 times this season. 0-1. Scooped by Stanley. 1-1.
You know, of all the celebration, all the people here to see Ryan, and I think most of America cheers for him to do it, you got to wonder what John McMullen, the owner of the Astros, is thinking, who decided not to re-sign this guy last year and has blown the Astros' ability to see win 300, strike out 5,000, no-hitter number 6, and so on.
1-1. Well, I'll tell you, John's position, he has been steadfast on it. He is not going to pay the kinds of money that are being paid to major league players today. He's just not going to do it. And he didn't do it with Ryan.
It's going to be tough to compete. That's just the obvious answer to that.
Here's the 2-1 by Ryan. Ready to climb the ladder on that one. And Guerin's even at 2-2. He helped him out.
No, difficult situation for Nolan. Back undoubtedly, it's not as good as it should be. He knows that it's a full house. Wants to give them the 300th win. Wants to get it. How long does he go? You know, how long does he try for it? How long does he before it affects his next start?
Got a 2-2 count here with 1 out. Guerin, he's going long ball, but he never got it. And Nolan Ryan has 5 strikeouts, and there are 2 down. Guerin has struck out twice now as they chalk him up here at the K corner here in Arlington. Here's number 5.
It's the first time he's ever gotten Guerin tonight. First time he's ever gotten Lairitz tonight. He's now up over 1,100 different men he struck out.
Got me once.
Did he? You're on that list, Jim?
Yeah. He also threw me a 3-2 curveball back in the 70s for ball 4.
He was up over Espinosa's head on that first pitch, and he's inside on that one. 2 balls and no strikes.
We were always told pitchers remembered their games. I never knew they remembered all their at-bats.
No,
Are you kidding?
I remember the one against
Pitchers
Nolan
remember
Ryan.
every at-bat. Yeah. Never mind the pitching. Here's the 2-0. Foul ball, 2 balls, 1 strike.
Hey, when you were as frightened as I was, boy, does that ball move a lot.
You didn't bail out, Jimmy.
No.
That's what matters. So you hung in there.
Jimmy, did you literally stand there in the batter's box thinking, how does he make it do that?
No, I thought, you know who I thought that against? Koufax, 66. The last game he ever pitched. He made the ball jump about 8 inches, 8 to 10 inches up, and he threw a curveball that started over my head, and Roseboro caught it down at his ankle. I wondered how he did that, because I couldn't do it.
Here's the 2-1, and Espinosa goes after it, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Makes you feel bad.
Yeah, the tough thing about Ryan is that when you talk to hitters, and if you ever hit against him, you just don't ever know what's coming. I mean, you can't sit on the fastball. I mean, you can look for the fastball, and that's most of the way hitters face him, but you just don't know what's coming. You can't be sure.
And he moves it around so well. I mean, he pitches, as you were talking about. He's a true pitcher, even
more so now than before. You know, but he's very stubborn. I mean, let's be honest. Andy Etchebarren, former Oriole catcher, went over to the Angels, and he said, Nolan back then said, 3-0, Andy, I don't want you sitting in the middle of the plate. Sit on the corner. Of course, he also struck out 383 guys that year.
2-2, and a battle here with the number 9 hitter, Espinosa, who struck out the first time, trying to prevent it from happening again. 2-2.
This is something Ryan doesn't want to be happening. Ryan is like a gas tank these days. Unlike earlier in his career when he'd have 160 gallons in there, he may only have 110 gallons in there, and for Espinosa to be taking 4 or 5 extra gallons out's not good for Ryan.
He's a lot like when he had the ligament problem down in Houston, where they limited his pitches to 100. By doing that, You know, how many innings will that allow him to be effective in? You know, traditionally he's going to get a lot of foul balls because of the high fastball.
The 2-2. There's another one.
But that also tells me something, that maybe his back's bothered him a little bit, because he doesn't, you know, even though he has pitched up in the strike zone over the course of his career, we saw earlier that sinker, that with the seam fastball, that he does get down. Not too many low fastballs tonight. The 2 home runs this inning both felt high.
2 balls, 2 strikes. He'll try it again on Espinosa. Just pops that one up off the fist. Jeff Hughes, third baseman Buechele, rather, will make the play, and that'll do it. But Moss and Kelly with home runs have given the Yankees the lead back. 3-2, New York leading again on the home runs. And Dave LaPointe's got a lead to work with as Doherty, the designated hitter, takes the pitch for a strike. We were talking about those who have struck out against Nolan Ryan with all those numbers. Claudell Washington has the distinction of having been struck out more than any other pitcher by Ryan, 39 times. Fouled it off.
There are, would you believe, some empty seats here in Arlington Stadium, but there may be a good reason why there's empty seats.
I mean, other than the fact that we're doing the broadcast.
Or they had to go to the bathroom.
Right? Go ahead.
Some people bought tickets to this game without ever intending to use them and keeping them as collector's items.
That's a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
Dave LaPointe, he's matching Ryan in strikeouts. Dave LaPointe has 6 strikeouts in this game, 3 in a row.
One collector bought 100 tickets to tonight's game just to keep them, to sell them as collectible items in case tonight was the winner.
He's sweating right now.
Yes.
Just a little bit. Great to have you with us on our Wednesday night baseball game from Arlington. Nolan Ryan's going after 300. World watches. We're very happy to have you with us. Thorne, Hitzges, and Palmer, the 3 here, you there. And it's a 3-2 New York lead. Dave LaPointe. Tell you, we talk about Ryan all the time, and appropriately so tonight, but Dave LaPointe before the game, was he ready? And Stump Merrill said, of all the guys I have who I'd want to put out there on a night like this, LaPointe's the one. We talk about Ryan's competitive instincts, so does Dave LaPointe have that kind of instinct.
Well, you got to have it. I mean, you know, you don't have the ability that Ryan has, and to go out there and compete, you got to do it maybe not with your ability, but with your heart, with your mind. And LaPointe's that type of guy, and it's a good matchup against this ball club. Now, we've seen Sierra strike out twice tonight on about identical pitches. I mean, 6 changeups blown away. He has not adjusted at all. Stump Merrill proud of Dave LaPointe.
1-2, crank, left center field. Good ride by Stanley. Way back at the wall, looking up and caught. Roberto Kelly. And he wasn't sure if he was going to hit the wall, Deion Sanders, or catch the baseball. He did the latter. Hello. 2 down.
Center fielder in left field, Norm. You know, last year's center fielder for the Yankees.
And a football player in center field.
Right. Both guys can fly.
Kelly approached this ball with some trepidation because it's almost like he kept waiting for Sanders to call him off the ball.
Well, normally, traditionally, your center fielder will make that final call. That's the way you play in the Metrodome, where you can't take your eyes off it to pick up the outfielder because you're afraid you'll lose in the white ceiling. No excuse here.
Steve Buechele swinging through that one, and the count goes to 0-2. So LaPointe gets a little help. And again, you see the rookie in center field, learning to play the position. Not willing to call off the veteran Kelly, who's playing left.
Dave LaPointe's one of those guys that contributes in a lot of ways to a club. He's a terrific guy to have on your club in the clubhouse. He'll always take the ball. That's the nice thing about him.
Workhorse, 0-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Buechele letting it go.
Well, what complicated his season last year was the ultimate arthroscopic surgery, but also the line drive off his pitching hand by Kirby Puckett.
78 wins, 62 losses lifetime. That one's going to be a base hit to left. Buechele is on. Roberto Kelly up with this one. Steve Buechele has not had a lot of those of late. Just 3 hits in his last 15 at-bats. But he's on with a 2-out single in the 4th inning. Want to remind you, the St. Louis Cardinals take on those red-hot New York Mets. You'll see it here on Sunday night on ESPN, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Cardinals trying to find themselves this season. It is not their year. It is for the Mets, but boy, would they love to be spoilers against New York. We'll catch the action Sunday night. Jeff Hughes batting 9th in the lineup. Drew a walk his first time up. Yankees with a 3-2 lead. Lirritz, the third baseman, has moved in case he wants to bunt for the base hit with 2 down. And Lirritz thinks he might. Shell at first.
Well, lefty versus lefty. It's a wise defensive position by Lirritz. I mean, he just figures, hey, Houston may not feel comfortable swinging against the point. Let's take the bunt away. Take away one of his options.
To second base, Sachs. And that'll do it. No runs, a base hit, and 1 left on. 4 have been left on by the Rangers. New York Yankees, who have the lead here on the road this season, have won only 16 games. They are 16-33 on the road. They've won only 18 at home, 18-26 at home.
And they are off against right-hand pitching.
That's the traditional strength for them.
Deion Sanders, the leadoff batter. Nolan in with a strike. He's been on twice, triple and a single.
Right-handed starters are 44-21 against the Yankees. That's just mind-boggling.
You look at this lineup, you just say, can't be that bad. When Hall was playing, because Matting was having a bad year, it's just there is nobody except Steve Sachs, really, who's having any kind of an offensive season. 1 ball, 1 strike. Deion Sanders hitting 161, and he wants how many million of dollars to stay in baseball? And they're talking to him because next Tuesday he's supposed to go play football for the Atlanta Falcons.
Jerry Glanville here. Jerry Glanville's message. They asked him what he thought about Deion Sanders. He said, "I've got one message for the people in baseball: split finger fastball."
1-2 by Ryan. Got him. 6. Hang another K. 1 away.
I wonder if Jerry would leave some tickets for Deion if he chose baseball.
And counting.
Deion knows who Elvis was. He knows what this high fastball is after a triple and an infield hit. You know, the one thing Nolan's always been able to do is adjust. And he said before the game he thought he might have difficulty with some of the Yankee guys because he doesn't know them. 2 or 3 times through the lineup gets you a little bit more familiar.
Sachs takes the fastball, had an RBI in the first and the ground ball out, and picked up that single in the 3rd inning. 2 home runs. Moss and Kelly that came in the 4th inning for the Yankees have given them their 3-2 lead. Look at it.
You know, all the scouting reports in the world, they don't equal to seeing a guy react to how you throw on the mound.
Curveball just totally gets away from him.
Tell that to Steve. Yeah, you're right. Just didn't get on top of it. See where the next one is, though.
Got that one in to short. Jeff Houston's got it to throw. 2 down, 5th inning. Sachs retired. 2 away, bases empty. Azokar coming up. Does he get better as it goes?
This year he has. He tends to be this year in the middle of the game a better pitcher, tougher to hit. And we're right in that stretch right now. Ryan started this inning having thrown 74 pitches.
And remember, the toughest starting pitcher to hit in baseball from an average standpoint.
Opponent's
183. Yeah, 183 before the game. And that dropped from 190. He only gave up 1 hit in his 6 innings his last start out. Of course, they got him 5 runs early.
Yeah. Azokar up. Weak ground ball to second. Franco's got it. Makes the underhand flip over to Palmer, and that's going to do it. A 1-2-3 inning. But New York still got that 1-run lead.
ESPN Baseball Tonight, brought to you by Daihatsu. Since 1907, the small car specialist from Japan. And by Showtime. Showtime exclusives. Here you see them, there you don't.
Fans a little pensive right now and a little beautiful right there. Great to have you with us. Yankees leading at 3-2. Dave LaPointe trying to keep it that way. This is Ryan hoping it doesn't stay that way. Pettis leads it off. Franco and Palmeiro top of the order. Squares, takes it. LaPointe's got the strike.
Little things inside baseball sometimes help. While the single by Buechele led to nothing last inning, it did get Houston up in the 9th spot, so you can lead off the inning with your speedball Pettis.
Put him on so he can run. There's the elastic pitch by Dave LaPointe. 0-2.
Yeah, the problem is that Pettis, after having a career year last year, is hitting .235. So you do everything right, and then it becomes down to what really, even though baseball is a team game, it comes down to individual performance.
Texas coming into this game, they are 9th in the league in average and 7th in runs. In the middle of the pack offensively. The 0-2. Point missed outside with it. Showed him 1, a ball and 2 strikes.
But as we said earlier, Gary, those numbers are somewhat tempered by the fact that this club got off to a horrendous start. Lost 25 of 35 at one point in April, May, June.
And picked it up. Left field. That's towards the foul pole. Is it fair? No. Couple of seats foul.
Well, the Rangers may not have tied this game because Joe Macko forgot to paint the foul pole once more today.
Pettis, who has 3 home runs, almost had 4, and Dave LaPointe, there's a kind of sense of humor he's got. He's laughing out there and wants a new baseball. He'll take that on a foul ball. That fair foul pole was mighty close. Just missed to the left. Fans in the right seats. You see how close they were to that foul pole.
Yeah, see now if the fan to his left, our right, would have caught it.
It's a home run.
Right.
Doesn't chase that one, and the count's even 2-2.
He had to be with us earlier to get
yes,
that one.
That's right.
That was his left ear, though. I've settled on that now.
I'm glad Van Gogh's not here. 2-2 count. Hit them where they aren't.
Oh, beautiful hitting.
Just reaches and gets the base hit. A lead-off single for Pettis on a 2-2 count.
So it is an individual game, and he does his job. Huh. I tell you, that's the old classic line. He hit it like he threw it.
He just flips this ball. It's a terrific pitch by LaPointe.
And it's out of the strike zone.
But he adjusted. Sierra hasn't done it to this point. I mean, after a while, when a guy keeps throwing it there, and you know that he's not quick enough because you've just jerked one foul and maybe he's not going to come back in there, you have a tendency to look away. He didn't, got a base hit. He paid.
Rangers have 5 hits now. The potential tying run on. Yankees lead 3-2. And here's Franco, and Pettis, of course, is going to draw the throw over there as he's the threat to run.
Bobby Valentine likes to play hit and run with Franco for 3 reasons. Pettis has got speed. Franco hits the ball hard and hits into a lot of double plays. And he hits the ball to the right side. It makes gives the defense problems when they run.
He's taking, and it's up high for a ball.
And what this forces LaPointe to do is, you know, he feels fairly comfortable with a runner on because he's left-handed, but the minute you do that slide step, in other words, go directly to home, it's going to affect the control of a control pitcher.
This is the count Valentine will sometimes go on. He's got Franco ahead, and he's got a control pitcher who does not want to fall behind 2-0 in this spot.
Pettis not running, and again it's away, and LaPointe, who has got to fight for his strikes, just missing now, is behind on the count 2-0. Franco has grounded into 9 ground ball double plays, checking with Oliver, the third base coach, for the sign.
What you want to do with a runner that's going to steal, you want to stop him. That's not a problem because he's looking right at him. You also want to get the catch of the ball quickly. Now, the key is there's a fine line between getting it to him quickly and also being able to throw the ball where you want to. You'd like to be able to take as much time. You can't.
Well, he had him fooled again. That move, he had Pettis going back to the bag. Pettis had that happen to him in the first inning when he ended up going back to the bag on LaPointe. So he's not got the move down of Dave LaPointe yet. There you see what he's done. Stolen bases, 3rd in the league.
You know, a lot of good base runners. Bobby Tolan, working with the Orioles youngsters down in spring training a couple of years ago, said get a one-way lead, get a big lead, make LaPointe come over. That will give you a better chance of maybe reading his move. So far, as you said, he doesn't have any idea whether he's going home or to first.
2-1, he's going. Swung on a miss. Throw down by Guerin's a good one, and he got him. And that's why the Yankees throw people out. Pettis is caught stealing, and that takes the leadoff man off the base paths here in the 5th inning. Bob Guerin.
First of all, look at how quickly LaPointe gets the ball to the plate for him. Guerin, one step and kaboom. And quite honestly, Espinoza had a chance to autograph that one before he tagged him.
Gonna wait for him to get there. Does the pitcher like that help? Yeah, he's into the game.
Well, there's nothing more enjoyable. I mean, really.
You got a speedster, a leadoff man on base.
It goes back to that stat that Elias throws out every year. That when the leadoff guy gets on, 51% of the time he scores, and if you get him out, it's only 16. So the point says, hey, I just got 35% off the chance of him scoring.
Yeah.
Just because Guerin did his job, I did mine.
In a one-run game.
Yep. That's what baseball's all about.
2-2 delivery to Franco, grounded towards the hole and underneath Espinosa's glove. Roberto Kelly will play it back in, and Franco is now 1 for 3 as he delivers a single, and the fans oohing and ahhing about that caught stealing again.
You've just seen something unusual for Julio Franco. He does not plug the shortstop third base hole very often with ground balls. When he pulls it, it's usually in the air.
Well, that's dead shortstop. That's why they played him up the middle, and as he said, he hit it where they're not really expecting him to hit it. That's why he got the base hit. Good call, Norm.
Franco on, 106 hits for him, 9th in the league in hits. He's at first, 1 away, and here's Palmer.
You know, I would think with LaPointe not throwing hard, you may shift a little bit over to play him to pull. I may do that the next time if he's still around.
Franco has 16 stolen bases, by the way, on at first base, 1 out. Towards the corner, Roberto Kelly. Foul territory. Runner tags, but is not going to go anywhere as Kelly gets it back in, and Franco goes back to first base, and now there are 2 away. Palmer retired. And now LaPointe will work against Sierra, who he's dominated tonight with 2 strikeouts.
You can say, well, Ryan's still got 4 or 5 innings for the Rangers to rally, but he really doesn't. Ryan, having thrown in the vicinity of 90 pitches, and given that his back is acted up in the 6th or 7th inning, if he's to get win number 300 tonight, the Rangers probably have to rally, you would think, in the next 2 or 3 innings, this one included.
Well, that's why I said there's a difficulty. Nolan, as proud as he is, as much a heart he has, he doesn't want to leave. You know, he may stay a little bit longer than he really should tonight.
LaPointe gets the pitch in for a strike. I don't think there's any question about that. If he's got a chance to win, he's going to stay in the ball game, unless he just physically can't.
Well, let's see if Sierra has given some thought to his first 2 at-bats now.
Struck out twice and looked bad doing it. Kind of surprising because he's hit LaPointe hard. He's 10 for 30 against Dave LaPointe lifetime.
Also hit about 70 points higher from the right side this year.
Yeah.
But he's a kid that's just struggling now.
Well, that's the word, a kid. You know, 24, and I think you look at the great things he's been able to do defensively, offensively, base runner. You forget how young he is. I look at this ball club. I think Harold Baines, he's hitting almost 300 at 299. We're not going to see him tonight, at least not as a regular player. They still need a leader. Harold is too unassuming, too laid back. And then to truly be a ball club that's going to contend with Oakland, Chicago.
Good stop made by Guerin. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 down, runner at first. Ryan hoping the Rangers get 1 or 2 right here. They're trailing by 1.
Jim, people would say, well, what about Ryan being a leader? But a pitcher has a tough time being a leader.
He made a great thing. He says, how do you get along with the young guys? He said, I'm as old as most of their parents. Yeah. It's tough to relate. I think what they can relate to is the fact that his work ethics, how hard he works, and what it means to him.
Towards short. Espinosa will go to Sachs at second. They get the force play, and that'll do it. No outs, couple of hits, but Rangers could not convert. Nolan Ryan, who's after number 300, got to go back to work. Yes, the moon is shining over Texas, and Nolan Ryan, hope that deflection's going on him here as he's down 3-2 and goes back to work with the Yankees on top. And a ball, 1 count as the Yankees up here in the 6th inning. Noakes, Maas, and Lirritz. Ryan, no walks and 6 strikeouts.
Last year when Ryan got his 5,000th strikeout in a game in the summer against Oakland, this place was packed. It was jumping. There was electricity in the air. And his Ranger teammates seemed to buy tickets and watch that night. There just didn't seem to be the normal energy inside the club. It almost looked like they were waiting for something to happen to them.
Did he win?
No. They didn't even get him a run.
1-1 misses, 2-1. The players were saying yesterday and today, though, that they say the difference in this one is this is not the strikeouts were Nolan Ryan's. He either got him or he didn't on his own. But they all said this is us too. We got to play defense. We got to score some runs. They're probably more uptight than Nolan Ryan. 2-1 delivery. And he's high with it, and he goes behind. A 3-1 on Noakes, the leadoff batter.
Pitchers win ball games because of what their teammates do. Obviously, you can present them with an easier job to do, but any pitcher that, more than any pitcher that I can think of, Nolan Ryan has won games more individually.
All those strikeouts. So there's a leadoff walk. Well, leadoff man on in the 6th inning. First walk given up by Nolan Ryan. Let's check in with Bill Patrick. Bill.
All right, Gary, let's head to the Big O in Montreal, where the Expos have tied it up. Bottom of the 9th, Junior Noboa tees off on Scott Ruskin. This will go all the way to the wall. Marquise Grissom comes around to score. Noboa then gets greedy, and he's tossed out at 3rd, trying to stretch it into a triple. But a new game in Montreal. Gary?
So Pittsburgh battled back to in the top of the 9th inning, and now the Expos in the bottom of the 9th. Are they battling for position in that Eastern Division race? Indeed, they are. Kevin Moss, he got a hole of one and delivered his 7th home run in the 4th inning off Nolan Ryan.
After the last pitch, Ryan took the ball, walked around the mound, took a few deep breaths. You almost look for signs of Ryan's fatigue at this point of the game.
Again, what Bobby Valentine said, he will look in to give me a definite sign. Well, something that Gene mocked as we look at the swinging strike. He said that when Dave McNally went from the Orioles up to Montreal, he said, as a veteran pitcher, that's what you look for. You know, you don't make the decision. Bobby Valentine, more than anybody, realizes what type of pitcher Nolan Ryan is. I mean, really, when you look at his ball club, 96 games into the season, they're 500. Why are 42,000 people here tonight?
Yeah. Foul back, and the first time the Rangers have been 500 since May 14. It's been a while, but they're here for one reason tonight, as most of you out there are. See if Nolan Ryan can put away number 300.
5 straight sellouts in this park to see this pitcher, and the earliest sellout in Ranger history. It was sold out last Friday.
After Ryan made it clear this was going to be for 300. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Runner at first base. Matt Noakes, the DH at first. Moss got him looking, fooled him, just throws him. That's 7 strikeouts now for Ryan.
No Moss.
No Moss. He couldn't move a muscle on this pitch.
Well, last time he moved the muscle, hit it in the upper, well, not the upper deck, but the pavilion out in right field. Would have gone in the upper deck. He hit it so hard. But constant pitching, hitting in the major leagues is adjusting. Ryan adjusted.
Lovely look from Moss after the big breaking ball. Just one little look out to the mound, thinking, thank you.
Well, what did he expect, though?
That's right.
You know, you throw him a 2-0 fastball, he hits it about 430. You want to throw him another one? This is the major leagues.
Jim Leyritz, runner going, hit and run on, and he produces down into the corner. That'll send Noakes over to 3rd. Sierra will get it back in. So Stump Merrill puts the hit and run on, and it works. That's a nice piece of hitting by Leyritz, who again went with the ball that was out away from him. 1st and 3rd, 1 out.
Jimmy, another fastball high and flat, and we've seen a bunch of those lately from Ryan.
Right, we just don't know how his back feels. I talked to the Tigers. They faced him over the last month. They said one time he had a good fastball. This time, not a particularly good one. 2 home runs have been on fastballs. And what that does for Leyritz is allows him just to hit the ball. He doesn't have to try to do something maybe he can't.
Roberto Kelly on the pitch out as they thought Leyritz might be going. He'll stay. 7 hits now against Ryan. There you see the lead runner, Noakes. And at first base with a single is Leyritz, who's 1 for 3.
There is no action in the Texas pen. This is the point of the game Bobby Valentine probably personally dreaded. Behind, and when do you start considering coming and getting them in a game?
Here's the 1-0. Look out. Inside to him. Kelly jumps away. 2 balls and no strikes.
Oh, homered his last time. You talked about how well he hits them over his career. Only now, what, about 8 or 9 at bats. It's a real tough situation. Got a strikeout pitcher against a hitter that is aggressive. The reason he's not a leadoff guy is because he swings at too many bad pitches. So he's not a strikeout victim.
Breaking ball, and he misses, and he's in danger of loading him up. He's walked only 1, but that was a leadoff walk to Noakes. Now there's a 3-0 count on Kelly with Bob Guerin, the catcher, waiting. 3-0. Not close. 2 walks, bases loaded, and we are at one of those points in this game.
Gentlemen, when Nolan Ryan's back has gone in the past, one of the things it caused him trouble with was getting the ball down. He would miss a lot of pitches high. He'd be out of the strike zone, up and in, up and out. And that's been the case this inning.
Valentine up. He's looking at Nolan Ryan, not at the bullpen. He wants to make sure Ryan's all right. Bases loaded. Yankees lead at 3-2, 1 away. And Bob Guerin, who has struck out twice, is coming to the plate. The bullpen is now active for the Rangers. Jamie Moyer. Guerin towards the middle. He's got himself a base hit. Noakes will score. Liritz around third is coming home. Pettis will throw into second base. And the Yankees have a 5-2 lead. Bob Guerin, who had struck out swinging twice, delivers a bases loaded 2 RBI single. The Yankees came loaded for bear, and for Bob Guerin, a big hit, and you see the Yankees dugout up and at him. 21 RBIs for Guerin.
Well, they like him. We saw how he can throw, and you're talking about a ball club. We've seen some outstanding pitching by LaPointe. Their record would not be 25 under 500 if they could get this kind of pitching and this kind of offensive intensity.
Obviously, Nolan Ryan has said, want to stay. Jamie Moyer will stay ready.
With as well as LaPointe's throwing, and realizing that the strength of the Yankees has been their bullpen this season, you cannot afford to fall much further behind than this. 3 is a lot the way LaPointe's throwing now.
5-2 lead for the Yankees. Runners at first and second. Espinosa double steal. The throw by Stanley. Got him. Roberto Kelly on the front end of the double steal is caught. And there are 2 down. Yankees trying to make it happen. So with 2 away, runner. Oh, you know how pitchers and ball players forget how many outs there are?
Now you know how badly we wanted Ryan to win.
There were only 2 down. We apologize. Alvaro Espinosa flied out to right field to end the inning with a runner left at second base, but the Yankees came up with 2 runs on the bases loaded single by Guerin. We saw Nolan Ryan going down into the walkway, as he's done after every half inning, because the Yankees now have a 5-2 lead for Dave LaPointe as he heads back out to the mound. So Yankees getting it done. Want to remind you here on ESPN on Friday night, front half of the doubleheader, the Boston Red Sox and those surprising Detroit Tigers, or Texas and Toronto, 7:30 Eastern. That will kick it off. What a battle going on. The Red Sox and Toronto for first place. The Giants trying to catch the Reds, but they are slumping right now. The Cincinnati Reds trying to just run away with it. The Giants in a big series at home. We'll have that one, or Houston at San Diego. That'll be the second part of the doubleheader.
As Faye Vincent enjoys a little chocolate ice cream.
My kind of man.
Just a thought for you guys, a historical perspective on Ryan. You know, 23 years now. The enormous number of people he struck out, and they've got the list of them. The Rangers have the whole list of everybody he's ever struck out. Just culling through it. Here you go. Ryan's gotten 3 whites, a blue, 3 greens, 8 browns, 2 roses, but no blacks. He's gotten a flood and a rivers. He's gotten trio 3 times. He's gotten law and order. He's sent bench to the bench 7 times. He struck out the Addams family, Glenn, Mike, and Ricky. He got Toby Hara 12 times, Dave Lope 6 times. They're coaches in the Rangers. He struck out his own general manager 8 times, Tom Breed. He got 13 Davises, including your favorite, Jim, Trench. He got Cash, Money, and Price. He's gotten a king and a queen. And he's gotten an alley, a shoe, and a gamble, a strange, a bass, and a bean, a bird, a cat, a moose, a cookie, a bip, a hacker, a belcher, and a klutz.
That's all?
That's it. That's all he's done. Now the question is, can the Rangers come back off Dave LaPointe? Incaviglia, strike one. 5 runs, 8 hits for the Yankees, 2 runs, 6 hits for the Rangers. Dave LaPointe the distance, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts thus far for the 30-year-old left-hander. Incaviglia had a 2 RBI single in the first inning, and he tears that one down the line and foul. Out in front of the LaPointe delivery, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. LaPointe has worked most of this game ahead of Ranger batter.
Yeah, that's a good point. Out in front, and that's what he wants them to do. He wants them either to be way out in front. We've seen that innumerable times tonight on the changeup. We saw almost the home run just hooking foul by Pettis, and you will see a lot of balls hit well. But they'll either be a little bit late when he finally gets inside with a fastball, or they'll be way out and they'll pull it foul.
And there he comes with that outside pitch, shows it to him every time. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He can get you to swing out.
The epitome of changing speed. Even though they are not Nolan Ryan type of speed. Finesse.
1-2. Look out, Dave LaPointe.
Well, I'll tell you, Jeff Ballard will tell you after last year what it's like to get hit by a line drive guy in Incaviglia. He went 18-8, probably would have won 20 games if it wouldn't have been a line drive off the left part of his neck early in the year. It was 10-1.
Look at this shot.
In fact, that ball got a piece of the jersey, it appeared.
Incaviglia with a single, leadoff single in the 6th.
Well, that's what you have to try to do. You know, you've talked about it, Norm. Sierra not doing it, Franco not doing it. You got to try to wait, and you do have to hit the ball right back at the pitcher. Maybe not that literally, though.
That is up the middle. Jack Doherty with a runner at first base towards third, blocked by Lawrence. There's 1. Sachs will have no relay. They get Incaviglia on the force out, 5-4, putting Doherty the DH on at first with 1 away. For the catcher, Mike Stanley.
Nice play, Jimmy Lawrence.
Former catcher. Maybe playing out of position.
Maybe catcher to be again. Who knows?
You never know. A lot of talk about Bob Guerin being trade bait. We know he can throw. He's already got a 2-run single, but Lawrence a little left field. In fact, played left field, and Hawkins no hitter.
Don't mention that.
Tried to play left field, and he's played about 6 positions. Played it well there. Got the lead out. That's why Sachs pointed to him.
Here's Stanley now, who almost put one out of the yard his last time up. He's singled, and a deep fly ball to left field. It was hauled in by Kelly in a snow cone catch in the power alley about 379 feet away. Yankees lead at 5-2. We are in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Chop to second, not hard. Sachs with a runner standing there. There's 1. They got to go for the tag now. They got him in the rundown. Doherty flipped back, tag put on. It's a double play. You don't get them that way very often. 4-3-6-3. Nolan Ryan, there are the numbers. He's at the century mark. Does have the 7 strikeouts. Note, however, those 2 walks came in the 6th inning. We have completed 6. Nolan Ryan will face Sanders. There's the line. 2 for 3 for Dion with a triple, a single, and then was struck out. And Ryan brings it.
Too bad Don Mattingly's not well tonight. This should be the 3rd prospective 300-win game he played in. He played against Seaver when he got his, and with Niekro when he got his.
He wanted to be in this game. That back just would not allow it when he came to the yard today.
Oh, you mentioned the average 245. You know, if you've ever watched Mattingly play, that he's got to be hurting to hit 245. I mean, you can talk all about guys not hitting behind him or whatever, but he's still going to get his base hits. Always has, always will.
Strike zone a little large. Deion Sanders thinks. Should have seen the outfit he showed up with today. He had on a Spider-Man outfit. Blousy nylon pants and a very blousy.
What color?
Orange and black. And Dave LaPointe let him have it when he walked. Here's the 1-2, kiddingly. Ryan. 1 down, 7th inning. One away in the 7th. Steve Sachs coming up, and so is Bill Patrick at our Baseball Tonight studio.
All right, Gary, back to the Big O, where the Pirates and the Expos are going back and forth. Top of the 10th, Jose leaned with a one-out single to right. Jeff King scores to make it 5-4 Pittsburgh, and Andy Van Slyke RBI single made it 6-4 in the 10th inning. Now back to Arlington.
All right, Montreal come back in the bottom half with a couple more runs. They'll play all night there. That's our score here, 5-2 at Arlington, Texas. Steve Sachs up. Fouls it back. Gary Thorne, Norm Hitzges, Jim Palmer with you on this very special baseball night. We are delighted that it worked out, that it's our Wednesday night baseball game with Ryan after victory number 300, but right now trailing 5-2. See a good offensive season for Sachs.
Even better last year. Anytime you tie Wade Boggs with 205 hits, you know you've had a good year, even though Boggs not winning the batting championship for the first time in a long time, as Puckett did.
Sachs to left field. Incaviglia perfectly positioned on him. 2 down.
I think what Nolan's going to try to do here in the 7th and maybe even the 8th and 9th is try to minimize the amount of pitches he throws. He is going to give in to the hitters probably more than he normally does, because he wants to get in a position where maybe, just maybe, he can get into the 9th inning and allow his ball club more opportunity for them to come back and him be on the mound. I wouldn't be surprised to see him try to complete this game.
Interesting that the previous 19 300-game winners, in their 300th win, 17 of the 19 had complete games and pitched outstanding games and good seasons for most of them. Strike on the outside corner.
Just because you're going for 300, though, is no assurance you're going to get it. Of the last 9, 5 got it on the first try, but it took as many as 7, for instance, for Early Wynn to get it.
He even came in relief. Fouled off. And the count goes to 0-2 on Azócar. Oscar Azócar picked up a single his first time up, 1 for 3 off Ryan.
Well, it's amazing that he is 10-4. His record 10-4 coming in tonight. Jeff Russell with 38 saves last year. As we said, not playing, on the disabled list. Defense, 13th out of 14 teams. Offensively, they were in a slump until the last 6 weeks.
Azócar fouls it back. It's been, again, Ryan a lot on his own.
Tell you what, when this staff is healthy, really healthy, now that Witt seems to have found himself and Brown settled in, they can drive you bananas as a hitter, throwing Ryan, Huff, 2 whippets like Witt and Brown, and then Russell and Rogers, who can really pour it out of the bullpen. There's some nice arms on the staff when they get it all put together.
0-2, looking for the strikeout, as are the fans. It's fouled off. As you mentioned, Norm, they've got the club has a 2.83 earned run average in the last 16 games. They're getting some pitching.
Oh, well, Kevin Brown can pitch. Thought he was going to make the All-Star game, as we said. Witt, terrific arm, and of course he's always been up and down. I mean, he'll go. I mean, last year would win 2 in a row, and then lose 3 in a row, win 4 in a row.
Azócar waiting. Ryan, fastball just missed. Fans are up and trying to get Ryan a strike.
This is traditionally a pitching staff that leads the American League in strikeouts and in walks. Good news and bad news.
1-2, looking for his 8th strikeout. Not on that pitch. Stays ahead, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I wonder if he's a hitter like Tony Oliva. You know, he hit everything except Milt Pappas used to say, hey, we tried everything, just throw it down the middle. It can't be any worse.
Azócar has struck out twice, no walks, and he hits that one down the right field line. That could be trouble. Sierra, no play on that one. Azócar is on his way to second base, and he'll go in with a stand-up. Ball bobbled by Sierra, but it didn't affect the double. And Azócar's 2 for 4 off Nolan Ryan, and now in his major league career, he's 11 for 26. And the rookie's at second base with hit number 9 for the Yankees. 2-out double.
You guys have seen the Yankees. The intriguing thing about all these young names that most of the people listening have probably never heard is that in years past, they never would have gotten the opportunity to play.
Well, look at the guys that came through that didn't get a shot there. Look at Danny Pasqua, who's a fine player. Look at Doug Drabeck, who's a terrific pitcher. I mean, you can go all over baseball, and there are Yankee farmhands scattered all over the country. Never got a chance in New York.
Matt Noakes takes it up. He's the designated hitter. Walked and scored in the 6th inning. The Yankee RBIs. Sachs 1 in the 1st and a ground ball. Moss a home run in the 4th. Kelly a home run in the 4th. 2 RBI bases loaded single by Guerin in the 6th inning. The Yankees lead 5-2, and Noakes can add to it if he can get a base hit with 2 down. One the count. Got him. Breaking ball on that pitch froze him, and the count is 1-2.
Nice snap here. Whoa.
See the rotation, but when you're looking fastball,
I think the problem is you don't see the rotation. That's why it baffles you so much.
This is up high with that 2-2. Show us that again.
This is what Nolan Ryan's done career-wise statistically. After he turned 40, the strikeouts have gone up and the walks have gone down. Jimmy, is that the changeup?
I think it's a changeup and also a different pitching philosophy.
Souvenir.
You know, when you go back and think about the middle 70s when he was pitching with the Angels, a lot of people felt that Ryan did not take full advantage of his ability, mainly because he almost pitched like he wanted you not to hit the ball. Now that's against the basic premise of pitching. Catfish hunter. A lot of guys, they got their strikeouts, but hey, if they could get you out to pop up on the first pitch, that was fine.
Are you saying he was almost too much of a competitor at one stage of his career?
Competitor. I think also the fact that teams weren't that good. They felt that maybe strikeouts would be parlayed into dollars, and they did.
Did do that. Grounded foul. He was the first free agent to have the $1 million contract when he signed that multi-year deal. There's Arnsberg up in the bullpen. Second time Bobby Valentine has had somebody up. He had Jamie Moyer up earlier.
I think another thing, though, is that unless you're Nolan Ryan, unless you have the gifts that he has, which is the incredible velocity, the curveball, the stamina, the determination, it's real hard to put yourself in that place. I didn't have his ability, so I wanted to guide. I wanted to strike somebody out when I had to. I probably couldn't have done what he was able to do.
2-2 towards second. Franco's got it. And that will take care of Noakes. No runs. A 2-out double left on at second base. 7th inning stretch time.
Everyone.
Well, you know all about his strikeouts and his wins. Did you know about his home runs? That one came off 300 game winner Don Sutton of the Dodgers, April 12, 1980. Nolan Ryan's first ever home run. And there was only one other. That one off Charlie Palaio, a 3-run homer in Atlanta, May 1st, 1987. The 2 dingers for Nolan Ryan. And he may need one of those tonight to help himself out. 7th inning stretch, fans settling back in, waiting, hoping. The Texas fans. New York leading at 5-2 as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Buechele, Jeff Houston on the top of the order. Pettis.
Gentlemen, there's a chance Nolan Ryan could be finished for the evening. The Rangers have just gotten people up to throw this inning. Now that might be, let me caution you, that might be Gary Milkey just back from the disabled list getting some work. Or it could be Milkey getting ready to replace Ryan next inning.
LaPointe misses up high. There's the bullpen. That's the 3rd Texas pitcher up in the pen.
Yeah, well, as emotionally involved as Bobby Valentine, Nolan Ryan is, and the fans here, you still want to give him the best shot. He's not going to win tonight when he pitches against Milwaukee.
That one is a 2-ball, 1-strike count on Buechele, whose single came in the 4th inning. 5 runs, 9 hits for the Yankees. 2 runs, 7 hits for the Rangers. Texas Rangers have stranded 5 in the game, only 2 in scoring position. Kelly, he misplays the ball. Roberto Kelly is going to go back for this one, and Buechele is going to end up at second base. And the Yankees have played more often than not just like that this year. It'll be a double, but it should have been an out.
Kelly really nonchalanted this ball.
And also misjudged it.
Yeah,
maybe that's the reason, but I'll tell you what, the great outfielders, they just know. Now, maybe he loses it in the lights. We can't tell. But that is a very catchable ball. You should be sitting on the bench if you're Steve Buechele, and you're lucky to be at second base. That's an out that went into a double.
You're very right. Having seen him put up a hand, maybe it was a fact that he lost it for a split second.
Meeting at the mound, Dave LaPointe talking with his catcher and shortstop Espinosa. That's the 8th hit for the Rangers. 2 for 3 for Buechele now, and here's the number 9 hitter. Yankees have been on the phone to the bullpen here to get something going.
It's Greg Cadaret stirring down there, number 25. Everybody's stirring. They're bailing out down there.
Well, here's a big inning right here for Ryan's chance at number 300. Houston squares around, takes it up high. Yankee bullpen has been fairly quiet tonight, but no longer. Alan Mills, the right-hander. Wilson tries the butcher boy, faked the bunt, pulled it back, takes the strike, 1-1. If the Rangers could get a lead right here, of course the runs would go to Nolan Ryan, so he could come out of the game and have a lead, or could come back out with a lead, put him in that position to win it. They've got to come up with 4 to get in that situation. LaPointe misses down low, 2 balls and 1 strike.
One of the intriguing things about Houston when they fished out of the Montreal minor league system is how good an eye he has at the plate. 31 walks, 31 strikeouts, which for a very young player is a very, very fine figure.
Well, I like the way when the count was 1-0, he was going to really just take a pitch.
He's bunting for the base hit, fouls it off.
Because he knows what his role is here. Down by 3 runs, 1-0, you want to take a chance of maybe walking. Of course, now that the count is 2-2, things change a little bit. Here's a guy that I don't know if he's going to be a great player, but I think he's going to be a very good role player. And ultimately, Bobby Valentine may decide to platoon him. You know, that is if Kunkel ever comes back and plays regularly. But he's the type of guy with the approach that since he doesn't try to hit home runs, he should be able to hit left-handed pitching also.
2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Buechele at second base. LaPointe overhand fastball. That is a fair ball. Kevin Moss. LaPointe does not get there. Runner stops at third. LaPointe arguing. Buechele at third base. Here comes the skipper, Stump Merrill, to save his pitcher. LaPointe did not get a good break. I think he thought that ball was going to go down the line. So did everybody else. Moss made a great stop. And all Merrill's doing is making sure LaPointe doesn't get heaved. He lets it go very easily with Greg Koss, the first base umpire. And it's first and third with nobody out.
I mean, now that we've seen David Cone earlier in the year going that double vapor lock, can you call timeout and run out if you're a manager and you think your pitcher may forget about the runner on second that's going to third? Great play by Kevin Moss just to make this close. Let's see if he got him.
He said he tagged him.
He didn't.
He didn't. That is going to be it for Dave LaPointe. That's a tough one to leave on. Nice shoulder move by Jeff Houston, who will be credited with the infield single, moving Buechele over to third base.
Everybody did their job. Kosk, the umpire, using the base runner. Kevin Moss, the only guy that didn't was LaPointe. It's a cardinal rule. Hit to the right side, you get over there.
Now what
and if he got over there, he would have probably still be pitching.
Stump Merrill standing on the mound and hasn't made a decision. He's just standing there, and now the umpire is making the call for him. There's the play. Merrill's bullpen was not ready, so Stump came over and stood on the mound with Dave LaPointe. He was going to change pitchers, but he was going to wait as long as he could. Hendry came out there and stood around. Credit Dave LaPointe, who's also working on just 3 days rest with an outstanding start. He leaves with a lead, 5-2, 2 walks and 6 strikeouts. Well, the tying run's going to come to the plate. Dave LaPointe, strong outing in this game. He had a complete game loss against Minnesota in his last outing. He'll just watch now. There he is. But he got it done. 6+ innings, 9 hits. There are the numbers. Now Harold Baines is coming up as the pinch hitter to face Alan Mills, the right-hander, on in relief. Runners at first and third, nobody out. Buechele and Houston the base runners. Baines the pinch hitter, and he takes the strike.
And Baines Baines is well over a 300 hitter against right-hand pitching. The kid Mills has a really good arm, but he's facing one of the hottest hitters in the big leagues. In his last 16 games, 426 for Baines.
Turns it over and gets the swinging strike. No balls, 2 strikes.
One of those classic confrontations with good pitching, a guy with a good arm, be able to get out a good hitter. The only thing that I didn't like in the numbers, 21 walks in 29 innings. Harold Baines, his power is down. You can pitch him up with high fastballs. He'll hit ball the other way. Line drive power the other way. Found that a lot of the ball that he hits real well to right field for power is a breaking ball down and in. As we are attacked by bugs up here. I think it's going for a swim in your drink there, Norm.
An advertisement for arachnophobia. Passing by. No balls, 2 strikes. That's where we are. Nolan Ryan's after number 300, bottom of the 7th. The Yankees have the lead, but there are 2 on, nobody out for Baines, the pinch hitter. 2 for 7 as a pinch hitter. Mills. Shows him one up high that time.
You know, it's like one of those trash novels. Glenn Allen Hill goes on disabled list. They come out with a movie the week later.
And he says he's going to go see it.
He's afraid of spiders, fell down the stairs having a nightmare and hurt himself. Putting himself in the DL. 1-2. Baines. Another great stop by Kevin Moss. He'll go to the bag himself. A run will score. But Moss may have prevented Nolan Ryan from getting his 300th right here in this inning. It is now a 5-3 game. Credit Baines with an RBI, but that's twice Kevin Moss has stopped the ball from going down the line.
And you've got to understand, this young man really isn't a first baseman. He's an outfielder. Well, actually, he's a DH, let's be honest.
Well, DH and outfielder last year at Albany, where he played most of the time. And Stump Merrill said this is not his regular position. The guy that is on the bench with a bad back, 5 gold gloves.
Ron Mattingly.
Well, he did everything right. Came off the bag as the runner took his lead. Well, as you said, Baines with a base hit.
Now Franco, and it's foul back. 5-3 game. Jeff Houston moves down to second base with 1 out.
The action in the Ranger bullpen is stopped. Apparently that was Milky just getting work. So apparently Ryan's going to come out and try it again in the 8th inning.
A run closer will want him to keep him there. There's the quiet pen of the Rangers. Run charge to LaPointe. He's also responsible for the runner at second base. 0-1. Foul tipped into the mitt. 0-2. Franco's not so sure about that. The home plate umpire made that call on his own. Mills has got that ball up over 90, 91, 92.
Well, right out of A-ball last year, 6-1 at Prince William. Well, the Yankees again going with a youngster. It reminds me of myself, where I didn't have much of an idea when I came out of A-ball, and what you do and what you hope is that he'll throw strikes. He's got the arm.
Chance for the kids for the Yankees this year. 0-2 the count, 1 out. Franco takes it away, ball and 2 strikes. There's Jeff Houston, the runner at second base.
You know, what I see is good mechanics. In other words, I don't see any reason from looking at Alan Mills' mechanics why he won't eventually be able to throw strikes. Obviously, when you're young, the more innings you pitch, the better control you have in most cases.
1-2 delivery, foul back. Does he have another pitch?
Well, that was a slider right there. I think the key question, does he have something that's off speed from the fastball? Hard slider had hard fastball. If you make a mistake with it, the majority of the hitters in the major leagues are slider speed bats. In other words, they might be behind the fastball, but that slider that's maybe 6, 7, 8 miles per hour slower, they'll be right on it if you don't make a good pitch with it.
One ball, 2 strikes. Houston with a lead at second. Popped him up, could be trouble. No play on it. Zokar, the right fielder, going over. That'll send Jeff Houston back to second base. He was going to score on that if it fell in. He already decided it wasn't going to be caught.
Jeff Houston. If you watch Jeff Houston for the year, I don't think he's finished 4 games he's played in with a clean uniform.
Wally Backman kind of player?
He's a Wally Backman kind of player.
Well, you talked about Montreal. That's where he came from. If there any ball club that is getting more out of their talent than the Montreal Expos, a team that lost all those free agents, UB Brooks leaving.
Credit Buck Rogers and company with that one.
Also, I think you got to give a lot of credit to their minor leagues because fundamentally they're sound. You talk about using going all the way to home. Well, he knows because that's what you got to do when you're on the base. You got to look where the outfielders are playing. You got to know whether instinctively the ball is going to be caught or not.
1-2 delivery by Mills, and it's fouled off again by Franco as this battle continues.
You don't think the Yankees have a book on Julio Franco? They play him as one of baseball's dead pull left-hand hitters. The center fielder is way over into right center. And Gary, I don't recall seeing a right-hand hitter given more of the left field line in this league ever than Franco.
They're playing him where they think he's going to hit it. Now the key is, can Mills pitch to the way the defense is stacked? And that's what pitching is all about.
Well, that's the proper way to play Franco.
Oh, yeah.
The left center field alley and the right center field alley are his zones.
Mills worked last night, faced one batter, walked Sierra, and came out of the game. Here with a 1-2 count on Franco. And a timeout taken by the batter. And Franco's not very happy himself as he steps out. Apparently he thought he asked for it a lot earlier than what Ted Henry, the home plate umpire, called it.
How does the pitcher feel about that?
Well, let me tell you a story. I talked to Alan Trammell yesterday in Detroit. I said, what about Ryan? He said, well, I'll tell you what, in an instance like this, he said he took so long I backed out. Umpire called time. And he just about threw the ball. He had to stop. He walked off the mound. He said you could get drilled for doing something like that.
Here's the 1-2 again, and the slider misses away. 2-2.
Allen said, he said, I tell you what, he has this way, Nolan, of looking at first and delivering the ball to home, so he wasn't looking. And all of a sudden, he had to stop his windup. And I guess that's another way of intimidating. But I tell you what, Nolan didn't like it. Don't want to get him upset.
Ryan has hit 2 this year, by the way. We keep talking about intimidation.
The other 50 got out of the way.
That's right. 2-2, pick off, Mills throwing.
Yeah.
Spinoza moved in.
But they don't give us the category for number of batters frightened during a season.
Well, they're all frightened.
Well, they did that. They did the thing in Sports Illustrated about the most feared batters. They got Gooden over there and Fernandez in the National League. Saberhagen. Well, Saberhagen's got such great control. How about a guy like Nolan that's throwing 95 and doesn't sometimes know where it's going?
My favorite still is Ryan Durr.
Or how about Dibble?
Yeah, same thing.
He doesn't know where he's going.
2-2. Inside, and it's a full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Franco with Palmero on deck. 5-3 Yankee lead.
If Rob's listening, I want him to know that Norm Hitzges said that.
Hey.
He may throw one in the booth at 100 miles per hour.
There's Palmero. He's waiting on deck here as Franco. There's Palmero. Franco just wants to get on for Palmero's bat. 3-2 the count. He does get on. Mills walks. Franco and the 45,000 plus here at Arlington are in it because Nolan Ryan, who's waiting on the bench, is behind by 2 runs, and they are potentially on right now. And Dave LaPointe, the Yankee starter, is headed to the clubhouse.
Stump Merrill headed to the mound, and we may get Cataray to face Plunk. But, gentlemen, that was a terrific at-bat by Franco, who battled out of a deep hole.
Fouled off some pitches, stepped out on Mills, and that's going to be it for Mills. So Mills works to just 2 batters. Baines on the ground out, and the outstanding play by Kevin Moss at first base, and now has walked Franco, and that sets the stage for Palmero.
ESPN Baseball Tonight, brought to you by Volvo, the car that's famous for its safety, durability, and longevity. By Barbasol Gel. Barbasol Gel proves a shaving gel doesn't have to be expensive to be rich. By Goodyear Eagle Radials, the best-selling performance radials in the world. And by Budweiser, Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you.
Cataray, Rafael Palmero takes the strike. It's interesting here with Cataray on a left-hander. Palmero's batting 37 against lefty.
What he doesn't do, though, is drive the ball against lefties. No. He'll spray the ball against them.
You can always see Ralphio get a base hit to left field. I don't mean always, but that's what his philosophy is. Got away from a little bit towards the end of last year.
And won't get one there. Lawrence in foul territory. Puts it away. Runners remain at first and second base. Big out. Palmero 2 down. 2 on.
Right fielder, Ruben.
An unhappy Camper.
Here's a guy that Sierra might be able to handle. Cataray doesn't have the slack that LaPointe does, the in and out, up, down, change speeds. Cataray's pretty much of a hump-it type pitcher, Jim, and that's the type Sierra hits.
Definitely in the dugout.
There's Nolan. Comes back. You know, he could be in just getting, don't want to go inside a cold locker room, but in maybe getting some hot stuff on his back. But talking about Cataray Sierra, Cataray slider, fastball, power pitcher, occasional forkball. He will come at you. He's more like to challenge Sierra than LaPointe was. There it is.
Came right at him.
You know, out over the plate. If you're better than I am,
hit it.
Hit it.
Ryan hoping. Yankees lead it 5-3. 2 on. A run in here in the inning.
Sierra 5 for 13 career-wise against Cataray.
Cataray the fastball away.
When Sierra's in one of these slumps, he tends to start his timing mechanism early. He lifts the foot and he gets out ahead. He tries to jerk everything, and you can get him out with the ball away.
4 for his last 27, hitting .264. Fouls it back, and ahead on the count goes Cataray. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, when you do that, there's nothing left. And when you talk about Strawberry, he lifts his leg, but it's where you put the leg down that allows you to hit off a firm opposite side. So when Strawberry is struggling, if you take a look at it, Nolan, Ruth looking on. Well, Alvin, Texas.
Sierra simply can't cover the plate when he gets out ahead. He can't cover the outside corner.
1-2 delivery. He got it in there. He got it to deep center field. Deion Sanders has room near the wall. Will put it away on the warning track as they were up in Texas, but they are back down. Now Ryan is up. We go to the 8th. There's still men playing a little boy's game, and it's the intensity that makes it that way. Take a look at the reactions on this fly ball out by Sierra. Ryan on the bench.
First baseman Kevin Moss.
Yeah, that's about it.
Wait a minute, there's one more word coming.
Even in Alvin Texas, that's all right. And so is that. Just a couple of dams.
That was the Spanish for dam, by the way.
Ooh, he got a hold of it. So Dave LaPointe still with a chance to win this game now as the Yankees bat in the top half of the 8th inning. Moss, who had the home run, is 7th in the 4th. Rookie putting up some numbers. He'll be followed by Lawrence and Kelly here in the 8th inning. A good baseball game. And all the intensity you'd expect with Ryan going for that 300th and the Yankees trying not to be the victim. Inside corner 0-2.
Jimmy, this kid Kevin Moss is a terrific looking kid. Cecil Espy, who supposedly was placed on waivers by the Rangers, is in the game after Baines hit for Pettis.
He's supposed to be out of here.
I claimed you.
No, must still be on the waiver wire.
This would be weird if he did something to win the game.
He was announced as being on waivers. 0-2 to send him down. Maybe they're still gonna, but he's got another day to go or something. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Jimmy, about this kid Moss.
Well, look, check his body out.
It's a great looking kid. Is this Jim Palmer's successor with Jockey? Huh?
Possibly.
Maybe.
Want to be his agent?
He won't have to have the Sansa Belt line that they're coming up with.
1-2, and he waved at that one. I think you distracted him that time.
Oh, yeah.
Ryan now has 8 strikeouts in the game.
Yeah, waved an endorsement contract in front of his eyes. And
rookies can't take that, especially when they're at
watch this ball move, though. That's to me just a changeup that he turns over. You talked about LaPointe turning it over. Look at him reach out on front. We saw what he could do with the fastball. Ryan, some quick adjusting. Struck him out the last 2 times. Curveball, changeup.
Jim Lawrence coming up, single and scored in the 6th inning. And the rookie takes the breaking ball down low, ball 1.
We're now past 125 pitches.
There's that bug. That bug you were talking about?
Oh, my.
Spando plate. 1-1.
Sansa strike zone. I mean, keep plugging that company. I've never worn this stuff.
What do you call, will you? Here's the 1-1. 1-2. Which reminds me, Jay Johnstone, one of the announcers for the New York Yankees, wanted to make sure to say hi to his dad, Jack Johnstone, who just got out of the hospital in Hemet, California. We hope you are well after the operation, and your son says hello. The 1-2 and a check swing. Ryan. 2 down. 2 away here in the 8th inning.
We got to give a Major League disclaimer and a Yankee disclaimer, Gary.
ESPN wants to thank George Steinbrenner and the Yankees for a special appearance allowance for us to do this game. The opportunity to bring it to you in this copywritten telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form prior to midnight without the express consent of Major League Baseball and that couple at the Dome. 2 down, nobody on here in the 8th inning. And here's another of the home run boys tonight, Roberto Kelly. He got his 5th in the 4th inning. Been on twice, had a walk. Hitting .283.
We talked about the pitch count, Norm. Back in the 70s, early 80s, that would just be about 5-6 innings. Just getting loose. Over 120.
Missed down low with that 1-1.
In fact, we ought to be at about 130 right now.
There we have.
Close enough.
Great percentage of strikes. Maybe too many.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, 95 strikes. Yeah, well. And if you go back to the at-bats, the home runs, the 2-2 pitch to Kelly, 2-0 to Moss. Guerin, just a ground ball up the middle, but the 2 big blows make you wonder about your stuff for the home run.
Kelly looking for a long ball right there. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 5-3 Yankee lead as they try and get out of a couple of losses they've suffered here against Texas. Nolan Ryan hoping. 2-2. Ironic that a Yankee team, which is about the worst in baseball, is the worst in baseball, becomes the Goliath in this game. Hardly anybody wants them to win tonight except the diehard Yankee fans and those guys right there.
Well, we talked about it. How do you motivate a ball club 25 games under 500? Try to keep a guy from winning his 300th game.
They've done it here tonight. And there's the walk. Kelly is on. That's the 3rd walk given up by Ryan. 2 down. A runner on at first base for Guerin, who had a big hit earlier. We'll come back for that after we check in. Bill.
Gary, Sacre Bleu, you called it. Bottom of the 10th, Pirates up 7-5. Stan Belinda to Marquise Grissom. And I can't believe it. It's gone. It's a 3-run homer. The Expos win it 8-7. The Mets have hung on to win 10-9, so the lead is just a half game, Gary.
Wow. Boy, those kids talk about rookies. How about those rookies playing for Montreal? Marquise Grissom is one of them. Great second baseman. He's playing for them. Delano DeShields. They're having to do it with some young people.
And there's a whole flock on the way. Will Cordero, the kid Farmer, the kid Rojas. You're right.
Larry Walker. Oh, good looking left-handed hitter.
You're really right. Their scouts really must be sharp people.
2 down, runner at first, and Guerin, who had the bases loaded single in the 6th. It's the pitch outside, 1-0.
And then they, and along with Oakland, all those first-round draft choices.
I talked with some of the scouts at the game the other day who said they think in the Gulf Coast League in 2 teams there are 10 prospects playing in the Gulf Coast League right now. Now that's 3-4 years away maybe, but they've got tremendous talent up and down that Montreal organization. And a timeout taken on Ryan.
This is a good spot for the Yankees to try something with Kelly. He's an accomplished base stealer. There's 2 outs. It's late in the game. If you could swipe a run from him.
Jimmy, that's just what you were talking about. He didn't like that step out and said so to Guerin and to home plate umpire Ted Hendry. 1-0. Guerin, he may have liked it. Left field, deep in Cavilla, back at the wall, looking up, and goodbye home run. Guerin has delivered a 2-run homer in the 8th inning, and Ryan comes in to talk to Hendry. He didn't like that call on the timeout that was taken, and the Yankees have a 7-3 lead. Guerin gets his 7th home run of the season and 4 RBIs in this game.
Again, Ryan with the ball way up in the strike zone, right up in the batter's eyes. And a lot of guys will take a ball out, even off a premier pitcher like Ryan. No, not that up that high, maybe letters. When Guerin really gets into it.
Down the middle. Outside middle. Well, that's where Guerin's strength is. I think if you look at anything, it's his 4th RBI tonight. The adjustment the American League has made is that they know he likes it out there. And you know, if you have your druthers, you don't want to throw it there.
3 home runs off Ryan, who had given up 9 coming into the game. And Guerin, who had 19 RBIs on the season, as Jim said, has 4 tonight. And the Yankees, with 10 hits, have a 7-3 lead. Espinosa goes after it, 1-2.
And an exodus has been signaled. The fans are just pouring out of here. I can't believe this.
Here's the 1-2. Espinosa, the breaking ball, misses. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I mean, you spend money, you stay here. It's 10:24 Central Time. What if the Rangers rally and people say, did you see Ryan win his 300th last night? And they say, no, I left early.
His son is hanging on. That's Reed Ryan. Swung on, missed, tagged out. Ryan has 9 strikeouts, but that's not what's important as he goes after number 300. He's down by 4. Our Budweiser storyline right there. Nolan Ryan trying desperately, but the home runs of the Yankees have really helped. Moss, Kelly, Guerin, a big night, a home run, a bases loaded single. Dave LaPointe, outstanding start for LaPointe. And you just sensed, here's a team Ryan has not lost to in 13 years. 7-0-2 in his last 9 starts against them. Fans gave him a standing ovation as he left after that last half inning. He puts the jacket on. It looks like Nolan Ryan is done for the night.
Well, the other clue is that fella right there. This is the closer for the Rangers, and they don't get Kenny Rogers up to just loosen up. When Kenny gets up, Kenny comes in. I think it's safe to assume Ryan's through for the night.
There are the K's, 9 of them tonight. Next Wednesday night, another great ball game for you here on ESPN. The Chicago White Sox, whoever would have thought, they will be at Fenway Park to take on the Boston Red Sox, and we will be there to bring it to you. And the regional game involves another team involved in it, Toronto. They will be playing at Baltimore. That's all coming up next Wednesday starting at 7:30 Eastern right here on ESPN.
In fact, that's 2 teams involved in it in the East, Toronto and Baltimore.
Yeah, everybody's involved in it except the Yankees of the East, right?
Milwaukee. What did they do today? They lost to Roger Clemens. Somebody from Texas is having a good night.
They shut him out.
Clemens winning 2-0, but they were only 5 back.
Well, the only oh, here's Righetti on. Hello.
Dave Righetti in for Cataray, and this is a save situation for Rags. Incaviglia, Doherty, and Stanley. Righetti putting some saves up this season, and for the Yankees, they've finally been able to get him into some situations where he has the opportunity. He's got 20 saves.
He failed to save a game twice. So that's a little bit better than last year. Failed 9 times last year. He hasn't had as many opportunities, so maybe they've had a chance to use him a little more prudently.
Incaviglia batting .248. Just taking it as Texas has got to get some base runners on.
Well, let's face it, there's not much to save this year in New York, Jimmy.
No, not at all.
They've got 34 wins. He's got 20 saves and a win.
Oh, I didn't mean it detrimental.
Oh, no, I know.
He just hasn't had a lot of opportunities. He says he wants to stay a Yankee. This is his free agent year, or will be next year. He said he wants to stay in the bullpen. A lot of talk about him going to a starting position.
Talked about that all year, but he wants no part of that at this point. 3 balls, 1 strike. Righetti, second on the all-time list for saves. The left-hander Sparky Lyles, 222 career saves for left-handers. Here's the 3-1, and he walked him. So Righetti walks the first batter he faces. Incaviglia's on for the 3rd time, 2 singles and a walk. Jack Doherty, the DH, coming up. LaPointe, 6+, 3 runs, 9 hits, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts. Alan Mills, 1/3 of an inning and a walk. Greg Cataray, 2/3 of an inning, and got the 2 batters he faced. Now Righetti.
Righetti's had a pretty good career against Texas, but they've couple of times in the last couple of years. They've lit him up pretty good in this park. He came in here last year when Chuck Carey had pitched a masterpiece and couldn't save a 3-run lead in the 9th inning for him.
If they're going to do it, here's where the Rangers want to do it. It's the strike on the outside corner to Doherty. 7-3. New York Yankees leading the Rangers. Will Nolan Ryan have to wait for another start to go after 300, which would be on the road? Fisted foul. 0-2.
Well, Rigetti came up. In fact, one night I'm running in the outfield when I was still pitching with the Orioles, and I'm watching him throw on the bullpen in right center. And it was like somebody handed him a gift. I mean, he had a terrific arm speed. He had 4 pitches. Doesn't use all 4 as a reliever, but as a starter. In fact, when he pitched the no-hitter, good curveball, good slider, changeup. Now, when he gets in problems, up in the strike zone, he throws a strike like he did to Doherty down, will be effective. I'll take some off right there.
Waste one there. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Doherty. Announced crowd of 41,954. Quiet again. New York got 1 in the first. Rangers answered with 2. New York got 2 more in the 4th. 2 more in the 6th. Rangers got 1 in the 7th, but New York came right back with 2 in the 8th. Foul back.
This is a peculiarity of Texas crowds, where in a lot of other baseball cities, you want Ryan to win. You're here to see him win. Here's a chance for a rally. The relievers walk the leadoff man. There'd be a lot of clapping and foot stomping here. Texas people sort of sit back and say, well, when it gets close, we'll start making some noise. Oh, here we are. That's Zonk, the guy with the drum who starts beating the drum. He's the guy who usually starts.
A reluctant following. Here's the 1-2. Got him. Bunner will go to second base. Incaviglia, and a little ow as he went in a little hard at second, and let's see how he gets up here. Left leg.
Guys, as Incaviglia walks around, let me ask you something. That is his tobacco tin in his left back pocket.
Why?
Why? I mean, let's say he has to slide on that, and let's face it, there is some metal there. We could have an awfully embarrassing disabled list announcement. Incaviglia, 15 days, disabled buttocks slit caused by tobacco can.
They'll go out and check him at second base. Strikeout for Rigetti. Incaviglia says, never mind, I'm all right. He's going to get a little breather here. He goes to second.
Why in the world would you play with your tobacco tin in your back pocket?
A very quiet Texas bench right now. Bobby Valentine also on his way out to check on Incaviglia. Well, they take a look at Incaviglia. Want to remind you, Sports Center will be coming up. Dan Patrick, Bob Lee standing by. The big days in baseball. Brett Canseco and Michael Jordan had a couple of home runs. They'll tell you all about that. They'll have all the scores, the Major League Baseball highlights, Goodwill game activity, and all the rest coming up right here on ESPN.
Yeah, how about George? He had a big day. We came in hitting 296, maybe over 300.
Is he hot right now? Oh. Swinging the bat again. It's coming up on Sports Center.
Strange thing is, he's doing it with all the guys in the lineup that are supposed to hit behind him out of the lineup.
Well, still the most incredible year that I think hitters had in recent years. Or maybe Canseco's 40, 42 stolen bases was the year Brett had an 85. 35 home runs, over 100 and some RBIs. Nobody hitting behind him.
Pure hitter. Mike Stanley, the catcher. His single came in the second inning. Rigetti with a runner at second base and 1 out. Yankees up 7-3. We're in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Oh, 1 by Rags is foul back. 0-2.
I think I'll take that back. How about Mitchell last year? Kevin, 47 home runs. Ernest Riles hitting right behind him. Why? Why did they ever pitch to him, Norm? Tell me.
I don't know. Until Matty Williams came along late in the season and really started hitting the ball, who knows? But who knows why they pitched to Cecil Fielder for 3 months in the American League either.
Well, let's see. Who's batting behind him?
Larry Sheets.
Yeah, they fear Larry.
Lemon,
he had a 3-run home run last night. He's hot.
No balls, 2 strikes. Righetti jams him, and it's fouled off. Stanley remains behind on the count 0-2. Guerin will go out to have a word.
Cecil hit another heat-seeking missile last night, didn't he?
Oh, I'll tell you what. He hit the ball. I was doing a game with Brooks Robbins, and he hit the ball that it was like when I pitched. You know, when you really get that one that you throw about 450 or whatever, you just sit, you know it's gone. You watch it all the way. As a broadcaster, I thought it was going on the roof. He hit it so high that it came down and just apparently missed the roof by about 2 feet. Only 2 balls hit over that roof.
What a season.
In left field. 32nd home run, I think 82nd RBI yesterday.
Yet Canseco's right behind him.
Oh, yeah. What if Jose was healthy?
Playing the whole season.
Or what if they move the fences in 10 feet like he wants them to do?
He doesn't need that.
He's making 30 million. 30 million.
30 million a year. Here's the 0-2 delivery. Runner at second base. Popped up. Right field. Zokar moving over. And there are 2 down. Incaviglia stays at second base. 2 down here in the 8th inning. That'll leave it up to Steve Buechele to try and get Incaviglia home.
Well, it's fairly obvious the Rangers aren't going to get the 4 to tie this inning for Ryan. But if you're thinking of getting him off the hook, that's a run at second base you want to pick up at the bottom of your lineup. If you could just scratch it to 7-4 here, you'd get around to the top of the lineup down 3 in the ninth.
Buechele, see the struggle he's had at the plate, but tonight, double and single and a run scored. Oh, what a quiet Texas bench. And they're all up on the steps looking out. But knowing this one is getting away. Righetti, that's going to be a base hit by Buechele. He gapped that one. Incaviglia will score easily. Buechele's going to go for 2. Roberto Kelly's throw not in time. And it's a 7-4 lead for the Yankees. Incaviglia crossing. Big night for Buechele. 3 for 4. The leadoff walk comes back to haunt Righetti.
Well, Buechele's tattooed a couple of balls tonight. Kelly misplayed one of them, but this is a good sign for Texas.
Yes, for them to be a truly good club that can compete in the American League West, they have to have a healthy Steve Buechele. Saw the average early on. That is not a healthy Buechele. Tonight, says he's a lot better, and he's got 3 base hits to prove it.
He's on at second base, and John Russell is going to pinch hit for Jeff Houston. Houston will end up with a 1 for 2 tonight as he had a single, and his time's up. Russell comes on to face the left-hander Righetti. Those are his numbers on the season. Russell as a pinch hitter, 3 for 10 with a couple of RBIs. Big chance right here. Get a chance to make this a 2-run ball game if he can pick up this 2-out base hit. Getty misses outside. And have they made the decision that Ryan will not come back? What if they got this run?
I think the decision's been made. I think Ryan may have made the decision himself.
He's been in the walkway and down in the clubhouse between every inning. He put the jacket on when he went in this time. (1-0). Russell fouls it back. 1-1.
Just to start the rush to the box offices in Milwaukee, the next Ryan start should be either the 30th or the 31st. Now, normally it would be the 31st, but because the Rangers disabled Mike Jeffcoat, nobody's quite sure what Bobby's going to do with his rotation, and Ryan threw a lot of pitches tonight. I would still assume they'd give him 5 days off, and he'd start the 31st in Milwaukee, and then the next one would be scheduled at home the 5th of August against Toronto.
Valentine said he would wait till after tonight's game before any decisions on starters would be made. 1-1 delivery by Righetti. Russell taps that one to second base. Sachs is over. And that will be the inning. In the 8th inning for the Rangers, they pick up a run on a hit, leave a runner on at second base. Righetti's looking for the save. Last time Nolan Ryan lost to the Yankees was May 14, 1977. He could lose this one. Kenny Rogers is on.
There'll be no 300th win tonight. Rogers relieves him. Don't be deceived by the 4.25 earned run average of this kid. He started a couple games early in the year, and he had one of those 27 runs in a third of an inning outings that balloons your ERA forever if you're a relief pitcher. Last 29 games, this guy's earned run average is 2.36, and he's converted his last 6 save opportunities.
Gary Houston came out for a pinch hitter, so Gary Green's at short. And the Yankees with a 7-4 lead. We are in the 9th inning. Deion Sanders scored a run in the first.
Hate to see the closer, Jeff Russell, be on the DL with bone chips taken out of his elbow, but it will help Kenny Rogers to have the experience that he's going to gain this year. Formidable bullpen if Russell can come back and throw like he did last year.
This guy is a real tribute to scouting. What some people will see in a kid, even though everybody else looks at him and says he's not a prospect.
Sanders steps away on the 2-0 count. It goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. 159 batting average for Deion Sanders, despite a triple and a single tonight.
A scout named Joe Marchese convinced the Rangers to draft this guy in the 38th round.
Center field. Espy is there and hauls it in. 1 away in the 9th inning.
Jimmy, when this guy was drafted by the Rangers, he was 130 pounds and was a left-hand throwing right fielder and shortstop that Marchese liked because he said he had a nice fluid motion, and when he grew up and filled out, he thought he could be a pitcher.
The toughest job the scouts have to do is forecast the future. I mean, not too tough when you got a guy like Ben McDonald throwing 93, 94 with 3 or 4 pitches.
There aren't many of those, though. Here's Sachs with 1 away, and he takes the breaking ball.
I mean, Ben pitched a terrific game on Saturday night for the first major league start, first shutout. And they talk about him being the highest touted, highly rated pitcher ever. Well, of course he was. Everybody was watching him because they knew he had those kind of gifts. To go down and get a guy, it's kind of like a Bobby Beathard of baseball. You know, get the free agent that nobody wants and see something that is going to be able to help you. I like Kenny Rogers because he's got a live arm. Control, he could work on his control, and that may come with experience.
2 balls, no strikes, 1 out. Nolan Ryan will not get his 300 as he's out of the ball game. 8 innings, 7 runs, 10 hits, 3 walks, and 9 strikeouts. He gave up 3 home runs. And that's a strike delivered by Rogers. 2 balls and 1 strike. So he'll have to wait for his next outing. Go for number 300. And the fans obviously very disappointed. Credit the Yankees. They were not going to roll over. This is one of the biggest offensive nights they've had in a long time. Remember, they come in batting 183 on this road trip in the first 6 games of it.
Well, you said it, worst offensive team in baseball. Struggling, can't score a run. You wouldn't tell that from the way they went up there and aired it out against Nolan Ryan.
That's baseball, isn't it, though?
Well, I mean, look at the Orioles' lifetime. You look at Stump Merrill. 5 and 16, Nolan Ryan is against the Orioles. Yet he no-hit him back in 1975.
Yep. That's to short. Gary Green will commit the error. Just came on. The first ball hit to him is an E6. First error of the game.
He got a bit of a bad hop here, but this is one of the 3 or 4 best shortstops in the major leagues. This kid is an incredible fielder. I know he doesn't look it on this play.
Did everything right. Caught it out in front of him. Just did not come up with a hop.
Former first-round draft choice of the Padres. They really thought Gary was going to be
if he could hit, he'd be something.
Oh, he would, because he can really pick him.
1 away, runner at first. And here's Jesse Barfield, who's going to pinch hit for Zokar. Barfield had a meeting before the game with Stump Merrill. That's Barfield as the pinch hitter. Zokar had a double and a single, so he had a good night. Barfield's struggling. And the pitch is inside for a ball. Those are the numbers for him. Not what the Yankees need from Jesse Barfield in order for them to be successful.
Tell you what, though, with a club that's struggling for offense, to put 12 homers and 40 RBIs on the bench every night's tough to do.
I think they are planning for the future.
Yeah.
If I was Jesse, that would tell me maybe I'm not in their plans.
He said just one hit in his last 20 at-bats. Runner at first base, sacks. Don't forget, SportsCenter's coming up right after our ball game. Dan Patrick, Bob Lee will be there. Big day in baseball. Yes, that is the Michael Jordan of the Chicago Bulls. And yes, he can hit a baseball. You'll see him do it. And all the highlights from very big games affecting the pennant races.
Now, did you see the highlights?
Yes.
Did he hit him right-handed or left-handed?
Hit him right-handed.
Oh, okay. Because I'm riding to the airport out of Baltimore. John Miller and Joe Angel doing the Oriole game, saying that even though he plays golf right-handed,
yeah,
he was hitting these balls left-handed. Now, how did they invert? How did we do this? How did we invert him?
He must have switched head up there because he was batting right-handed.
Oh, okay.
In the highlights I saw, and he hit the home runs. I mean, he hit home run. That's not easy to do. He stepped in and took about 5 pitches and then put 2 in the seats in Comiskey Park in left field.
I'm not sure about Joe Angel, but John Miller's been backward for years.
Dyslexic and doesn't even know it.
Nor care. Barfield up with 1 down and Sachs on at first base. Yankees going after their 35th win of the season. Barfield swinging through that one. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Over 45 home runs in Toronto. Just seems like yesterday. Outfield for the 90s was going to be Barfield for the Toronto Blue Jays. Mosby in center, Bell in left. They want to make Bell a DH. Mosby's got a bad back and is in Detroit, and Barfield, who knows where he's going to be. But he's really been bothered by the left wrist, that lead wrist. I think he puts his hands in a position where he just cannot get the bat out like he used to.
Those 3 people were born within 16 days of each other. Bell, Barfield, and Mosby, and my, how the fortunes have changed for the 3 of them.
Happens quickly in ball games, particularly baseball. 2-1. You were talking about Cecil Espy, who's in center field tonight. Was probably going to be in the minor leagues here in a couple of days.
Or who knows where.
Yeah. 2-1 count, 1 away. Jam Barfield, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You know, one of the other nice things about Kenny Rogers is he's got a reliever's mentality. He's got that sort of give a bleep mentality. You know, he has a bad day and you can't tell it the next day in him.
Well, that's one thing a lot of relievers like about relieving, is that when they fail, good managers get them right back out there so they can be successful. And they get a chance to go right out there and prove themselves. Try having about 3 or 4 bad starts in a row. A month without winning.
Did you go a month without winning?
Oh, I'm sure I did, yeah. Oh, you know, in fact, 1974, I was 7-12 with about a 3.25 ERA. Then I lost 1-0 in the playoffs. Weaver said, I'm going to put you out there every time. I don't care if you lose 20. I lost 7 in a row. It would be 2-7. He changed his mind.
2-2, and he got him. Rogers comes back to get the strikeout on Barfield. 2 down.
He says, I take it back.
Bill Patrick's in our Baseball Tonight studios. Let's check in with you, Bill.
All right, Gary, from the never a dull moment department, the Mets and the Phillies. The Phillies scored 6 runs in the bottom of the 9th, but they fall short by 1 as Tommy Herr lines out to Mario Diaz at short. Mets hang on by the skin of their teeth. 10-9 the final. They led 9-0 at one point in this game, Gary.
Franco could smile. He gets the save. 7-4 here on Nolan Ryan, 300th night that's not going to be. And here's no. Here's Steve Balboni. Get a look at bye-bye Balboni here.
This is a good guy to have around it. Steve Balboni, you're just sort of happy he's around the major leagues because every once in a while he'll say something to make you laugh. Or
oh, nice guy.
Yeah.
Just a lot of holes as a hitter.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect.
He hit a grand slam about 4 or 5 years ago, and after the game, the press gathered around him. He said, you know, this is a moment you'll never forget, your first grand slam. One of the reporters said, you hit one last year. He said, oh yeah, I did.
That's why they call him bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Another reason for the bye-bye.
It's not only the home run.
That's
folks.
right. 0-2 count, 2 down. Sachs on at first base. Yankees lead at 7-4. Rogers throwing over, as opposed to throwing up in the bullpen.
Yes, which was a Jerry Coleman line.
It's a Jerry Coleman line. Have to give credit.
What was it? A Jerry Coleman line.
One of the great people in this business. Here's the 0-2, and Balboni takes it up high. Ball and 2 strikes. It's a fly ball deep to left field. He's back. His head hits the wall, and it's rolling towards the infield. Another Jerry Coleman. 1-2. Got him. Rogers gets the strikeout. Last chance coming up for the Rangers. We'll go to the bottom half of the 9th inning. Those are the 3 due-up.
The Metrodome, where the Twins blew this game open against the Mariners here in the bottom of the 8th. Gary Gaetti sends Jeffrey Leonard back. It's off the plexiglass. Gaetti with a 2-run double. He had homered earlier. Minnesota 6, Seattle nothing. Your final score from the Metrodome. Now back to Texas.
It's like the Lawrence Welk show. Yankees 7-4 here in Arlington. A goodly number of folks having departed our midst here. Sports Center will be coming right along to bring you up to date on all the scores. Dan Patrick, Bob Lee hanging in there. Ken Seiko's big day. Brett moving up on that 300 mark. All the Major League Baseball highlights. Will Seal and Michael do something else, this time at the plate. Dave LaPointe, the pitcher of record, looking to go 6-7. Nolan Ryan, pitcher of record, will go 10-5. Ryan had gone 5-0-1 in his last 6 starts. And as we mentioned, hadn't lost to the Yankees in his last 9 outings against them, so 13's an unlucky number. He hadn't lost to the Yankees in 13 years. He's going to lose to them here tonight. Jesse Barfield is staying in the game. He's in right field. Cecil Espy, who's batting in the leadoff spot, will start it out here in the 9th inning. And Barfield in right for Zokar.
Espy doesn't have an extra base hit this year. Those are truly ugly numbers. His job lost when they signed Pettis as a free agent center fielder, and Cecil just has struggled every day of the season.
Dave Righetti, after his 21st save, gets it in for the strike. 4th Yankee pitcher with LaPointe, Mills, and Cadaret, and now Rags.
Guys, Espy is 5 for his last 32, and that brought his average up.
Oh, he didn't. He start out at like 0 for 21. Oh, it's tough to keep yourself ready, and even if you do, you know you're never going to play.
Espy the chopper towards short. Espinosa 1 away in the 9th inning. Keeping Bill Patrick busy at our Baseball Tonight studios. Bill.
All right, Gary, let's head to Candlestick Park. Pick it up in the 1st inning. Dodgers and Giants. That's Matt Williams at the plate. Mike Morgan the pitch, and see you later. Deep to right center field, and it is out of here. A 3-run shot for Williams, his 20th of the season. 83 ribbies on the year for Matt Williams.
Matt Williams is a streak hitter. The question is, can a streak last for 3/4 of the season? The Giants need it.
It will if he hits those pitches. I tell you, you throw that kind of pitch, we see a pop up
first. Kevin Moss is there. Franco's retired, 2 down.
And the ball is delivered over the right center field fence. You go into shock. Mike Morgan probably thought, hey, I made a pretty good pitch. Oh, sorry.
Boy, is he strong.
Especially with that guy, though. Yeah. Williams is learning. I tell you what, if Matt Williams ever learns to take that ball to the right center field gap, baseball is really going to have trouble with him.
We'll be there Friday night. 2nd half of our doubleheader. Cincinnati will be at the Stick right here on ESPN. So the Texas Rangers are down to their final out, and it's been a disappointing night for the Rangers. Nolan Ryan will not get 300 here tonight. 7-4 lead, 2 down, 9th inning. Rafael Palmeiro is Dave Righetti looking for the final out. And he's not going to get it here. That's in the gap. Roberto Kelly over, and the ball skips the other way on him. Palmeiro to second base, and he'll stop there. It'll be a double for Rafael Palmeiro. And that'll be the 11th hit for the Rangers. 21 hits in this game now. See how this one got by him.
It's been a horror story for Kelly.
Yeah, this is not an aberration. This is the way the ball responds on this grass. Thought early in the year against the Orioles, the ball just checks up. Now, Kelly, this is his, really 3rd year with the Yankees. He's been around long enough to know that. Overruns it. We already saw him play out into a double. You know, again, maybe it's the 7-4 ball game. Maybe it's a lack of concentration, but he's such a gifted athlete that it makes you cringe when you see it, because he's just not learning, and he has experience.
The Yankees, as we said, they've played like that all year. It's just been frustrating for the Yankees. 2 down, Sierra. You know, these New York Yankees have lost 21 one-run ball games. They're 12-21 in one-run games.
You know, there's still one tiny little bit of hope here, because the guy who can hit the ball to the park on this club's on deck, and he's the tying run in Cavilla. If you somehow can get Sierra on base, Incavilla is not a bad guy to have up as the tying run.
Sierra takes the strike from Righetti. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 down. Runner on at second base. Yankees are trying to go 6-3 against Texas. We only their 3rd win this season. They call that a single and an error now, so credit Palmeiro not with a double but a single, and he goes to second on the error on Kelly. Down low, 2 balls, 1 strike.
Now if you're Sierra, you got to be selective here. You don't mean anything. You got to get the ball. You got to get on base. Doesn't matter how.
You got to tell him that.
Yes.
Louder. We'll see what he does. Seriously. I mean, this has to be a good strike, a ball that he's got to know he has a good swing at. Otherwise, he's falling right into the hands of Dave Righetti.
2-1 delivery. Right through the middle. That's a base hit, and we'll get a run home. Palmeiro scores. And Sierra got one to hit and picks up an RBI, and it is a 7-5 game with a potential tying run coming to the plate.
Put that run on Roberto Kelly's earned run average, even though right now it's an unearned run because they gave him a base hit and an error in left field. But as you said, Norm, tying run at the plate. That's what you want. That's what it's really what the Rangers have been trying to do ever since the 6th inning.
Well, see, Righetti makes a mistake here. All night long, you've been able to get Sierra out on a ball in the outside corner, and he pours one up and over the inner half in a plate. Well, with a guy that's bailing out, that's the pitch he's going to hit.
Team leading 59th run batted in for Sierra, who right now is 7th in the league in RBIs. And here's Incaviglia. And yes, Mom said he can get it done.
This guy kills left-handers.
And he's going after Righetti. Strike 1.
The idea here is not to get the ball down and out over the plate to Incaviglia. That's the ball he drives.
Batting .258 off the lefties with 4 home runs off the southpaw. 2 down. Texas keeping it alive down to their final out here in the 9th inning. Sierra off first. And Righetti misses up high with it. Righetti's struggling a bit here.
The one thing I've seen about Dave Righetti is that in the old days he could throw the ball in the middle of the plate and still get you out. He cannot make mistakes. Made a mistake to Sierra, hit it right back at him. Made a mistake to Palmeiro, he hit it in left field. If he makes a mistake to Incaviglia, especially 1-1, if he gets behind the count, he's going to have a good swing.
Incaviglia a little bit away from his power zone, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
But that's where you want the ball, Incaviglia. You want it waist high or above. He doesn't hit that ball well.
Especially out on the black like that was, running away.
He's a hitter much like Ron Kittle is. The ball down, Kittle will just drive that ball, but the ball up, he doesn't seem to be able to really drive that ball well.
It's a classic pitch that you see well, but it's difficult to get on top of.
Righetti 1-2 delivery, swung on, hit in the air to right field. It's deep. Barfield back. They're looking out. Goodbye, home run. They've tied the game up. A 2-run, 2 out, 1-2 home run for Pete Incaviglia. Down to their final strike, and those who stayed get a treat. Incaviglia's 16th home run. He has a 4 RBI game.
Well, they do for Ryan what they've been trying to do all night, which is get him a lot of runs, but it comes too late for Nolan, but not too late for the Rangers.
So Ryan will be non-decision, and so will Dave LaPointe. And Righetti does not pick up the save. 7-7, 13 hits for the Rangers. Doherty inside the designated hitter. Take a look again.
Remember we told about the power zone of Incaviglia? Look at this pitch. Belt high and over the inner half. You just can't put that ball there, Jim.
Well, you can if you want a guy to have a good swing, and he didn't mean to do it. His control's been spotty all night. You just can't throw basically all fastballs and then to a power hitter make a bad pitch. You're right. He made a bad pitch and he paid for it.
Well, he's given up 6 home runs this season in relief. That's not good. In only 32 innings pitched. 1-1 the count, 2 down, so it's a brand new ball game. Foul back.
A year ago this past Monday night, the Yankees took a 4-run lead at the bottom of the 9th inning. They lifted Chuck Carey. They brought in Righetti, and Ruben Sierra hit a 2-out, 3-run homer to tie it, and the Rangers won it the next inning.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 down, 7-7. 3 runs in, bottom of the 9th inning for the Rangers to tie it up. Doherty swings through it. Righetti gets the out, but he doesn't get the save he wanted, and we're going to the 10th inning. 16th, tying the game up. Goodbye. The other way.
Exactly the scenario we talked about, Jim. The one guy the Rangers wanted to get up because he's a big hitter, big bust hitter.
Well, we saw the strike just before this. Made a good pitch, swung through it, then made a bad pitch. He connected. And to be brutally frank, after Righetti has been used as much as he has over the last, really since '84 as a reliever, he doesn't throw like he used to. Does not mean he can't be effective. But when he throws the slider, which resulted in the last strikeout, or he makes good pitches, he will be. He just can't throw the ball by guys. And it's an adjustment that all pitchers that lose a little bit stuff as they get older have to make.
So we go to extra innings. Moss leading it off will be followed by Liritz and Kelly. Kenny Rogers, the pitcher of record now for Texas, and Righetti for the Yankees. His home run, 7th, came in the 4th inning. There's Righetti. Boy, if this isn't typical of what the Yankees year has been like. Microcosm again, only it happens day after day for this ball club. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Yankees have lost 12 games this season in the opposition's final at bat.
They've lost 9 in a row in this stadium.
1 ball, 1 strike. Rogers missing outside. 2-1. Extra innings this season. New York's 3 wins, 6 losses. Texas 2-5.
Yeah, traditionally over a course of the season, I mean, phenomenal numbers for teams that take leads into the 9th inning. I mean, like 85-1 for the A's because they got Eckersley.
Yep.
All good ball clubs usually win those games. You're talking 98% of the time.
Even after 7 innings.
Oh, yeah.
You've got a lead.
You see the numbers. In fact, they're usually on every stat sheet when you come into a ballpark. They're just phenomenal numbers.
Well, and Righetti,
unless you're the Yankees.
To be fair, Righetti's had terrific numbers in those situations this year.
Well, 20 out of 22 until tonight. So now it's 20 out of 23. That's a real high percentage.
Rogers gets him swinging. Moss goes down, and Rogers has his 2nd strikeout. Struck out Lee Belboni to end the last inning. In fact, he's got 3 strikeouts. Kevin Moss right on through it. So let me give 1 more to Kenny Rogers. 3 strikeouts now, and that'll bring up Jim Liritz. Singled and scored in the 6th inning.
Is that a dozen tonight for the pitchers combined? Because Ryan had 9.
That's what it'd be. Oh, floated that one in.
Well, see, that's what makes a lot of people think in this organization this kid could be a starter someday. He really has 3 pitches. He's got a nice live fastball, he's got a nice slider, and he's learned the off-speed pitch.
Yeah, he struck out the last strikeout of the last inning.
His pickup made Gary Green. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah, that's the real Gary Green right there.
2 down. Doubleheader coming up on Friday night right here at ESPN. And a couple more outstanding ball games. The Red Sox and the Tigers at beautiful Tiger Stadium, or Texas at Toronto. That'll kick it off at 7:30. And then Cincinnati and San Francisco. The Giants have got to beat Cincinnati if they are going to win. Or you'll see Houston at San Diego.
I get to be with Zabriskie. Get to protect him right over the home plate area in Tiger Stadium. You'll be in San Francisco.
Isn't that great? Yeah. You're going to do that game.
Oh yeah.
First game of the doubleheader.
Would Zabo?
Man, what a great yard.
If the Red Sox can get it together. Tigers a lot better this year, obviously.
It's because Sparky changed his name.
Yes, it's now George.
George.
Yeah.
You know, everybody talks about, gee, here comes Baltimore, here comes Milwaukee. You know, there's Boston. Nobody ever mentions Detroit that sits 5 games out of first place.
That's because Sparky said you can't talk about them being a contending club till you get to 500.
Grounded down to 3rd. Steve Buechele. And the Yankees are gone in the 10th inning as Rogers retires the side in order. Rangers get a chance to win it.
Had perhaps his best stuff of the year as the Red Sox took on the Brewers. Greg Vaughn goes down. Edgar Diaz, forget it. Clemens struck out 9, a 3-hit shutout, his first shutout of the year. Red Sox win 2-0. They're now tied for first. Back to Arnold.
You know it's going well when you see Tony sitting on that back leg, just sitting there waiting for it.
Tired arm. Roger complained of a tired arm.
Throws the 2-0 shutout.
Well, you know, we're talking again about Nolan Ryan's next start, possibly against Milwaukee. Real important part of matchups and winning ball games is who you're pitching against. Are they aggressive swinging ball club? Milwaukee, that type of guy. So you know, maybe Nolan will get his next.
He's 11-9 against them coming into this season.
Mike Stanley, the catcher, leading it off. Righetti still on for the Yankees. And the Yankees have a new right fielder, and I don't have the slightest idea who that is. Well, I'll find out.
Looks like
who is that? That one is popped up. Please don't hit it there. Here's Roberto Kelly, who's in left. He's going to be called off with a shortstop Espinosa.
Well, it looks like it's Leyritz, and I think maybe Velarde went into third. It looked like maybe what had happened.
Is that what they've done here? Righetti gets the first out, bottom of the 10th inning. That'll bring up Steve Buechele.
Why in the world would you simply take Jesse out of the game?
Maybe there's been a trade made and we don't know about it. I can't believe you don't know about it, Norm.
I mean,
this is your town.
We've got a guy on waivers playing center field for the Rangers. I mean,
the town that never sleeps, Arlington. I mean, and you don't know about this?
One down, Steve Buechele. 3 for 4. RBI, couple of doubles, runs scored. Thank you very much. And the strike.
Remember that run?
Sorry.
In the bottom of the 8th that we talked about. You got to narrow this. If you want to pick up Righetti, you want to try to knock a run off the lead in the bottom of the 8th. Buechele's 2-out base hit proves to be a huge run in this game.
Sure was.
In fact, Gary Thorne would be having nachos about now were it not for Steve Buechele's.
Bucho nacho.
I think we hang both Buechele and Incaviglia. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Tell it like it is. I love that.
That's right.
You
starved, Jimmy.
That brutal honesty.
Brutal honesty. This short. Espinosa. Evan Moss, and there are 2 down. I was just looking in the Elias baseball analyst for 1990. We were talking about losses in our team's last at bat. They went back and analyzed that. In 1989, the major league average was 17 losses in the opposition's last at bat. That's a lot higher, I think, than most people would have expected.
Now, what was the average? What did Oakland do?
Oakland last season lost 12 in their last at bat. Grounded toward short again. Espinosa's got it. Running throw. That's going to be it. 1, 2, 3 inning. We go to the 11th. Tied here, 7-7. Those who may have joined late win 8 innings, 7 runs, 10 hits, 3 home runs off him. But the Rangers rallied, 3 runs in the 9th inning. Beat Incaviglia with the home run, 2-run homer that tied it up. So we go to the top half of inning number 11.
Jim, the last time up, Guerin called timeout just as Ryan was about to deliver, then homered. If Ryan were still in the game, if you were Guerin, would you have a bit of a trepidation stepping in here?
No, only because I'm leading off the inning. There were 2 outs, and he had a lead.
Might not get in.
That's right. You wear 2 helmets. You know, Gary, going back to that thought, that was losing the last at bat without a lead. You know, you'll start looking at numbers last year, taking a lead after the 7th inning. Oakland was 90-4.
Oh, gosh. Buechele, tough play. Not going to get him. Palmeiro just comes off to avoid the base runner moving down, and Guerin is on again. Guerin's had 3 hits, 2 singles, and a home run. He's 3 for 5, and he's got a leadoff infield hit here in the 11th inning.
Kansas City 71-4, and they went out and signed Mark Davis. So the numbers are really staggering when you lead late in the ball game. You know, it's tied, then the numbers, as you said, the league average is around 17 times. You may ultimately lose that game.
And that counts the extra inning ball games too. Now Espinosa with everybody looking for the bunt.
Mike Stanley comes back and brushes off home plate for the umpire.
He's a full-service catcher.
Gotta stay active. That's right. Yeah. You never know.
Yeah.
Maybe looking for work.
Any way at all to get a little favor with Ted Hendry, right? Here, let me take care of it for you, Ted.
Bouchel in at third. Throw to first as much to see whether or not Espinosa would move up in the bad handle. Didn't indicate.
Great bunter last year. Second to Fermin over in Cleveland with 23 sacrifices.
Good bunt. Russell. Second baseman Franco covering. There's the sacrifice, 7th of the season for Espinosa, and that moves Bob Guerin down to second base with 1 away. And it'll bring us up to the top of the order. Deion Sanders.
One thing you have to understand about Kenny Rogers is even though Kenny Rogers has the assortment to go a long way in a game, fastball, slider, changeup, for the last couple of months since Russell's been out, he's been a 1-inning pitcher. Last 29 times out, he's pitched only 34 innings. So this represents a long way for Kenny Rogers and a lot of pitches for him to throw.
And taken for a strike. Stump Merrill didn't want to go deep into the pen here either. They've got a day off tomorrow, but they've got to go to Cleveland and play 5 games against Cleveland, 2 double hitters. This is the last thing he wanted to do in the final game at Texas. There's Guerin at second. Sanders takes the pitch, 1-1.
This also represents Rogers' second time through the lineup. When he came in, he started by facing Sanders. Well, the Rangers don't believe Deion Sanders is going to pull Kenny Rogers, do they?
Play him over and in. 1-1. Broken bat, foul ball. I mean, a real broken bat.
Oh, yeah, between the thumbs.
Rogers has given up only 1 hit, only 2 base runners. The other reached on an error. First hit was that single leading off this inning by Guerin. New bat for Deion Sanders. Sports Center coming up as soon as we're done here in Arlington, Texas. They're standing by to bring you up to date on all the day's baseball action. Lots of very important baseball games. Ken Seiko chasing for the home run lead. So's Michael Jordan. Yes, Michael Jordan. Dan Patrick, Bob Lee standing by. 1-2 the count. New bat, foul ball.
You know, I've never been much on Superstars competition that made for TV, but I'd pay to see Bo and Michael Jordan go at it one day.
Doing what?
Like 15 athletic things.
Oh, let's see. We've seen Bo in his last ad. If he can race, he plays cricket, golf, race car driving. He probably win the Superstar. I'm surprised he hasn't done it. I know Herschel Walker has done that.
When's he got time to do that? There isn't any off season.
Yeah, that's right. Does Bo know the obstacle course? I think he probably does.
He'd learn it in a hurry. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Deion Sanders. We are in the 11th inning. Yankees with a runner at second and 1 out, tied 7-7. Kenny Rogers staying right in on the fists on Sanders. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You got to give the Yankees a lot of credit. I mean, they could pinch hit here. They could not give Deion Sanders the opportunity to learn at the major league level. You know, we talked about Buck Rogers up in Montreal. He took some flack from Tim Wallach, his third baseman, because he let some of these young guys, the Shields, Grissom early in the year, learn under these circumstances. And he said, how will they ever get any better if I take them out in clutch situations? Pretty good point.
Yep. 1-2 delivery. Sanders doesn't like it, bangs his bat. Ted Hendry keeps the mask on for the moment. Rogers has 4 strikeouts. The mask is off. Deion's close to leaving. Very close. And he's gone. There goes the bat. Showalter, the third base coach, is holding him off, and Stump Merrill moves out in between. Buck Showalter came charging down, number 48. Hendry gave him a chance to leave. Deion Sanders didn't take it. Showalter doesn't like it. He's arguing with home plate out. I take it back. That's Mike Ferraro, first base coach, who's arguing.
Here's your problem, guys. Yankees have no outfielders left.
They've already got Lirritz, an infielder, in the outfield.
That's right.
4 strikeouts for Rogers. Deion Sanders is gone. Guerin still at second base. There are 2 down. Here's how it happened.
Gentlemen, the only Yankee left to put in this game is Wayne Tollison, a second baseman, shortstop, third baseman.
Yeah, he'll go to third, and
Velarde will go to the outfield. I guess Kelly will come to center field, and we'll have a third baseman in right and a third baseman in left, and Kelly in center.
It'll be a Dodger outfield.
Yes.
In the old days.
And sometimes in the present day.
Well, I mean, I once did a game back in 1985. Fernando against Nolan. Nolan won 2-1. Mike Marshall played right field. Franklin Stubbs played center. Len Matuzik played left, and Greg Brock played first. So they had 4 first basemen in their lineup. No wonder they lost.
Oh, gee.
And they're going to pass Sachs.
Sachs will get the intentional pass. Randy Velarde is the on-deck batter.
And you know how they lost? Craig Shipley from Australia threw one over the dugout for a 2-run error.
Craig Shipley. 7-7. 11th inning. Guerin's at second base. Sachs is about to be at first base, and Velarde is going to get an opportunity at the plate for the first time in the game with 2 down here in the 11th. Deion Sanders thrown out of the ball game. There's ball 4. So with Velarde coming up, let's check in at our Baseball Tonight studios with Bill Patrick. Bill.
All right, Gary, let's take you to Dodger Stadium. The Giants and the Dodgers, top of the 6th. Will Clark, base hit to left center field. That'll score Jose Uribe with the 5th Giant run. That chased Ray Searage. Tim Cruz on in relief now, trailing 5-0. Back to Arlington.
Thank you, Bill. Yes, we are still here. Yes, we are in the 11th inning. And here's Randy Velarde at the plate. 2 on. Velarde's first time up. Rogers misses up high. Ball 1. Take a look at the numbers on Randy Velarde, though he might not want you to. 0 for 5 as a pinch hitter this season. This is not a pinch hit. He's been on the bench a good deal of late. Down low, 2 balls and no strikes. Rogers has got to be getting tired. Arm's going to be a little weary.
The Yankees could have one other possibility. Kevin Moss is an outfielder. He could move out there, but then who do you play at first? Because Tollison doesn't fit there.
Well, you put Velarde at first. He played a little bit of that in spring training.
2-0. 3 balls and no strikes. And Bell Boney is waiting on deck.
By the way, all this is assuming that Don Mattingly can't play, by the way.
Which right now is a pretty good assumption.
I mean, Mattingly is still technically available in this game, but took himself out of the lineup with back problems.
3-0. Strike, 3-1. Mattingly never played tonight. Came in, was going to be in the lineup. Said, my back hurts too much, I just can't do it. So we did not see Mattingly in this game.
Rangers have a right-hander, Arnsberg, ready in the pen. Rogers walks Velarde. You might well see him to pitch to Balboni.
3-1. Good comeback. Rogers looks like Randy Myers out there. Myers gets off the mound after every pitch, takes a cruise around. Same thing Rogers does. He gets off the mound, circles it before he comes back up to the pitching slab.
Well, he's got a little Roboski in him. He'll turn his back and spend a few seconds psyching himself at times.
Well, he psyched himself right back into a 3-2 count after falling behind 3-0. Guerin at second base. Sachs at first.